Hello, hi. That's a weird transition still. I haven't worked it out. We're going to be restreaming the Final Fantasy XIV Letter from the Producer Live, Part 68. It's happening. This is supposed to be the next 10 years of Final Fantasy. I don't have any other ideas for what this is going to be. Jesse's running late, so he'll be joining us in due time. This is what is currently on their stream, which is just a static image. They were doing some sound test earlier. And someone in chat mentioned NFTs. And people lost their NF minds. MF minds, if you know what I'm saying. I'll get out of the way so you can see this key art here. People went insane. But Yoshi P said they wouldn't be coming to Final Fantasy XIV, so... I was told yesterday while I was streaming from a Final Fantasy XIV employee in the chat that works in PR that said there will be really cool stuff here. So I don't know what that means. I don't really know. I don't know. I don't know what to expect today. I wouldn't think that this is going to be the 6.1 letter from the producer live. That will probably be 69. But I don't know. I mean, we might get some grandiose announcements. We might get some engine reworks. We might get, major expansion time slots. We might get class reworks. I don't know. I don't know what we could get. I really don't know what is going to happen here. And I really don't know, because I see this being asked in the chat, I really don't know how long this is actually going to be. Sometimes these have gone till like 3 or 4 a.m. my time. But they are starting a little bit earlier than usual. It's starting at 8 p.m. my time. It usually starts around 10 or 11. So, how long are you prepared to go? I was planning on streaming today till 1 or 2 in the morning. And we have been doing some like 16-hour streams the past couple of days. So, I'm ready. I'm ready for a lot. I've got some water in my my favorite cup. Jesse's currently stuck in traffic as well, for people wondering. But we're about 5 minutes out from this thing. So we shall see what's happening. Or what will occur. I like this music. We could go live on Jesse's channel as well. That might make a lot of sense. I summon thee, Jesse Cox's channel. Oh, Jesse just logged in. Jessam's here. The old Jess-tober just sat down. Well, he turned his PC on, and then he'll be joining us in just a sec. So we'll go live over on Jesse's channel. But yeah, we're about 4 minutes out, just kind of waiting. Kind of chilling and waiting. Waiting and chilling. You guys want to look at Jesse's room with me? I think that was toilet paper on Jesse's desk. It could have been. It might have been. What is he doing with toilet paper on the desk there? I don't, maybe he gets a little bit excited. You never know. I turned his camera off, and so we don't get Cox's Cox. If you know what I'm saying. Is that every class in the art? I just realized this. Gunbreaker, Monk, Astrologian, Red Mage, Samurai. Wait, is this Warrior? That's Warrior. That's Monk. Black Mage, White Mage, Blue Mage. This must be that's not in the game yet. Dark Knight. What is that? I don't know what that is. All right, let me unmute the Jesse Coxes. Ninja, Machinist, Sage. Oh, that's Time Mage? Okay. Jesse, I'm gonna unmute you. You are now unmuted.
Hello.
Hello, you're tiny.
Oh, hello. Oh.
What the fuck?
Dude, I've been stuck in the work. My office is like blocks away from my. It's not even. It's like a 5-minute drive.
Okay.
And traffic was so bad it took 25 minutes to get home.
Yeah.
LA, ladies and gentlemen.
It's that LA life. Well, you're here.
It is.
You're here. We're good to go. We're live on all the channels. You're watching it on your own channel in terms of your own PC.
Where am I actually? Am I watching it through the thing here?
Twitch.tv/Final Fantasy XIV.
I mean, okay.
I can send you audio if you just want to listen.
No. F the audio.
Yeah, that's what I figured as such. That's what I figured.
I figured I'd do all the voiceovers today.
They got to ask about NFTs in the pre-show.
Did they?
Chat was very vocal about how they feel regarding NFTs, and Yoshi P was very much glued into chat's response.
Good. I hope so.
It's pretty funny. It's good stuff.
I genuinely hope that is.
Yeah, they said no NFTs in Final Fantasy XIV, etc. I've been telling chat I don't know what to expect from this. I really don't. I really do not know. But here we go.
おはようございます。
おはようございます。
Hello everyone. 第68回 Final Fantasy XIV プロデューサーレターライブをお送りいたします。Thank you very much for tuning in to Final Fantasy XIV Letter from the Producer Live number 68. 皆さんに自己紹介お願いします。Please introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Naoki Yoshida, producer and director of Final Fantasy XIV. 皆さんおはようございます。そしてこんばんはな人も多いですね。Final Fantasy XIV プロデューサー兼ディレクターの吉田です。よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。そして本日進行を務めますコミュニティチームモルボルこと室内です。よろしくお願いします。My name is Toshio Murochi, also known as the Fox Clone. You are global community producer here. I will do MC stuff for today's live letter. はい。そして、本日はですね、本日の、プロデューサーも、日本語と英語のバイリンガル放送でお送りしますので、我らがあいみさんがスクエニアメリカオフィスから入ってくださっております。So once again, today's letter Final Fantasy VI bilingual in Japanese and English.
Has nothing to do with 14, but
Square Enix America office. あいみさんです。おはようございます。
Sound is out of sync?
スクエアニックスアメリカの徳武あみです。契約を務めさせていただきます。よろしくお願いします。Hello everyone, this is Aimi from the Square Enix Los Angeles office. I'm going to be supporting for the translations.
What? You're kind of. Let me bump your mic up.
はい。で本日の、PLL はですね、このセットアップご覧になった方もいるかと思いますが、吉田さんが話したことは、あいみさんが通訳してくださいます。で私が喋ることは私が
喋るので、
いきますので、
Let me have this.
Who's your
私か
future
ら私
wife?
重要な話は出ません。
No,
私のことを翻訳し忘れてるなというのはスルーしておいていただければと思いますのでよろしくお願いします。So today's setup is 吉田さん explain things in Japanese and then あいみさん will do 吉田さん 's voice in English.
That's what I'm saying. She's in LA. Anyway, what?
はい、そして今日の PLL はですね、前半戦は、Final Fantasy XIV の新たなる挑戦、次の10年に向けてということで、吉田さんからいろいろご説明いただきます。そして後半はですね、休憩挟みまして後半は、フォーラムで事前募集しました、パッチ 6.0 をプレイしてみての、Q&A セッションをお送りしたいと思います。So today's letter live has two major parts, and then first half is the kind of presentation by producer director Naoki Yoshida, which is where we are and where we are going for next 10 years. And then we have a taking break, and then latter half is the Q&A session based on your gameplay of 6.0 expansion。
はい。
はい、
a
ということで、
Q&A. Okay.
始めてまいりたいと思います。
ですね、私がこっちを見てるとき、こうなってるときは皆さんのコメントを見てるときなので、今日こういうシチュエーションすごい多いと思うんで、
They need to focus her camera. Her camera's not out of focus. She's using a
Yeah,
webcam.
she's not there.
You might see me
It's been green
turning
screened,
my
yeah.
head sometimes when I'm speaking, but I am actively looking at the
They're in
comments
Japan
that
and
people are
she's in LA.
making as they watch the stream. So you may see me turned this way, but I am still participating. So just wanted to let you know.
Does Yoshi P
まあ
have
ちょ
like
っ
a
とね、日本
presentation
のコメン
clicker?
トでね、この手の通訳放送はテンポ悪いんだよなって言ってる人いるんですけど、まあ、グローバル全体でねお届けしているので、吉田の長い話をですね、あゆみさん一生懸命ね通訳してくれてるんで、そこはね、それを言われると我々ちょっと悲しくなるんで、そういうまあ、ファンフェスのステージぐらいで思って見てもらえると嬉しいかな。
And we do see some comments about how translations kind of drag on the pace. It doesn't feel as quick. But Amy is here to try to facilitate communicating Yoshida's comments. It makes us sad if you're disappointed that it's in two languages. But perhaps if you look at it like a FanFest stage event where we have the Japanese and English, maybe that might help it make it more fun.
あとコメントで今日は 6.1 ががっつりじゃないんですかっていうのもあるんですが、so we see some
Anytime he looks
comments.
to the
Is
side,
it, do we
he's
have
reading.
any
He's 100% him being like-
chat right now. He hasn't stopped.
for
He has a
6.1?
problem.
So,
The man is, yeah, it's an addiction.
そうですね、
I love it.
パッチ 6.1
I love that he's
の
like,
内容と
what do people think?
紹介に関しては3月4日
はい、4日です。
に、パッチ 6.1 特集パート1の PLL をやる予定なので、 6.1 のまあでも今日ちょっと出ますけどね、6.1 の詳しいところはそっちに譲ります。
So yeah, today's broadcast is not literally going to be just about 6.1. We may touch upon it, but then the details are going to be explained on another episode of the live
So
letter
episode
on
69
March
is
the 4th.
6.1.
This is JST, but we will go into details at
Nice.
that
That's nice, yeah.
timing.
あとは
Nice.
まあなんかこう重大発表的なねニュアンスで取られてるけど
Jesse, are you
楽しく気
continuing
楽に
the
行くので
tradition
皆さんもですね
of
緊
taking
張
an
せず
edible
気
right
楽
before
に
the
今日は
start?
見てもらえると嬉しいです。
And some people might be bracing for a very important announcement when we talk about today's broadcast, but that's not the
He lives in
intent.
California,
We
guys.
would
It's
love for you
legal.
to just relax and just have fun with the broadcast.
面白いですよ。
なんかこういうこと言うたびにさよしやめんのみたいなの
I am now.
出るんだよな。ついに俺さでもいつだっけ新情報発表会でさ言ったばっかだよね。
そうですね
ライフワークだって言ってるんで
Buckle
そういう
up,
話じゃないんですよ。
And I understand we were talking about like the future of Final Fantasy XIV, but every time we mention something like that, people are like, "Oh no, is Yoshida going to quit?" And no, I think I told us when we were doing our announcement showcase in February. It's like 14 is my life work. It's not like I'm going to just up and leave suddenly.
もうそんなんで嘘つきって言われるの嫌だから
Need JP
なん
to
だ
go
ろ
get
うそんな
whiskey
ね
now?
自分の
That's my secret.
年
I
の
always
ね
have.
重大発表をしますみたいなねことは言わないですよ。
ちょっと恥ずかしいね。
うん。
I mean, I don't want people to be going around saying, "Oh, you're such a liar," because I mean, I'm not the type of person who would make these kinds of like my personal announcements on a live stream. So.
さあでは、やっていきましょうか早速。前半だいたいね2時間ぐらい、後半も多分2時間ぐらい使うんじゃないかなと思います。なのでご飯食べたりですね今日土曜日なんで
They need to get
飲める人はお
AirPods for
酒
their
飲みながらとか
earbuds.
でも全然いいので楽しくいきましょ
So we're looking at least for the first part, we're looking at about 2 hours broadcast. And so just
2
you're
hours
free to
of
do
presentation?
like you have dinner or like eat lunch as you're watching the
Holy
broadcast.
fuck.
It is a Saturday.
Oh,
so
don't
if you
worry,
wanna
don't worry.
start thinking
Dinner's
early,
on the way.
You're more than welcome to do so.
Don't worry, Amy. Dinner's on the way.
う。さあ行きましょう。
Call me though. You're in LA?
What the hell are we going to talk about for 2 hours?
はい。
Oh God,
じゃ
Jesse,
あ
you're
早
blocking them.
速いきますが、改めて今日お話しする内容のトピッ
Today's
クおさらい
topics.
しておきましょう。
Okay, so jumping right in, let me go over the
Yeah,
topics we will cover.
で、まず一つ目はちょっとですねまあ14これまで、正確にはね 11年
We had talked
やって
about
きて
belts.
いるので、ちょっと振り返
Our
りを最
journey
初に、
thus far.
皆さんへの感謝も込めて、やりたいと思います。
The first topic, of course, it's been about 11 years, to be
This is
accurate,
live, Falcos.
how long 14 has been going on. So we'd like to kind of do a little bit of a retrospect, just convey our thanks to our players and look back on everything.
でそれを振り返った上でですね、ちょっとこの先じゃあさらにもう10年は僕続けたいと思ってるんで、この先10年さらに14を発展させていくために新しい挑戦やっていきますよといろいろそこについてどんなことやってるのかというのをお知らせしたいと思います。
No wonder it's going to take 2 hours.
Part
And then once
3
we
is
do
going to be
Teacher me
about.
is losing my
on,
mind.
Our past, then we look
There we go.
forward
Teacher
to
me is
the
like,
next 10 years. Because as I mentioned,
so
I would love to
broad.
continue having Final Fantasy XIV for yet another 10 years. So there are many different things that we want to do in order to continue expanding Final Fantasy XIV, many challenges that we want to take on. So I want to touch upon some of those items in today's broadcast.
でここまでいったら1回休憩を挟んで、放送の後半として3つ目、パッチ 6.0 行月のフィナーレ、プレイしてみて
Wonder what the
What
Endwalker
did you
あります
think?
かというので Q&A 事前に
We're really
質問募集
tuned
して
in on
いましたので
extremely popular
それに対して
Twitch
いろいろお
streamers.
答えしていこうかなと
Hassan
思っ
Abi
て
is
ます。
taking over the internet.
And then once we do
with his
that,
Porsche
we
Taycan.
will have a break in between.
I just can't
and
understand
it'll go into the latter half of the
how
show
he bought that
where
Porsche.
we kind of
He's a
ask
You make
the
money on
players,
Twitch?
what did
But
you
he
think
buys-
after playing 6.0? And
thought he
so
would
we
give
will
all his
do
money
a
to
bit of
charities.
an
Makes no
Endwalker
sense.
Q&A.
あと10年か吉田リビングデッドを使う気だなみたいなコメントがあったりね
I want to ask him a question about
We're
teleport
seeing
costs.
comments like, oh, 10 more years, huh? Is Yoshida going to kick off his Living Dead?
あったよね確かにね吉田の量産を開始しましたとかクローンの吉田が誕生したので紹介します
I
とか
feel like
そういうのじゃなく
sometimes
て
there's jokes that don't translate well.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
what
I
the
think
hell that meant.
I've
Oh,
seen
that was
comments
the
similar
Living
to that,
Dead
and like
ability
people saying,
for
"Oh,
Dark
we
Knight."
have mass-manufactured Yoshida clones."
でなぜか私はもう完了してますよって書いてあるんですよ。
そう
Yeah, then I say I've done already. So something like that.
では早速いきましょうか
Okay,
まずは、
decade of Final Fantasy
正確には
XIV.
ね
Here's
11
2
年なんです
hours.
けど大きくくくって10年ここまで皆さんとねやってきたの
I
で
like
ちょっ
this
と振り
art.
返っていきたいと思います
Nice.
Okay,
Not
so
enough
jumping
Lalafels, but it's
into
nice.
the timeline here.
There's two.
Of course,
There's one.
I know.
accurately it's 11 years, but like
No,
there's
Drew
two.
called this the 10 years of Final
Disappointing.
Fantasy 14.
Who's that in the very top center?
いろいろありましたね2010年サービスを開始してその12月に運営体制ね全部
はい
開発も一新して僕はここから参加ですね
So first, 2010 was when it all started. Many things that
that's
happened
Reaper, okay.
caused us to sort of reconsider the development structures, and there was a lot of changes that were made in order to kind of reboot the title. So this is when I joined in. Yoshida joined into the project.
で2021年の2011年の10月14日に、14日が縁起がいいだろうっていうので申請をやりますよという発表してますね
And then 2011, October 14th, we were thinking 14th must bring us good luck. And that's when we announced that we are going to have Final Fantasy XIV Reborn.
海外の皆さん
I
詳しい
didn't
よね
realize that Realm Reborn
アイさん
started
もイ
in
ンタビューに言ってくれた
2014.
と思うけど
Kinda-
9番を遊んでみたいので
fortuitous.
9番のサーバーを復活させる気ありませんかってクラシックながら
2013?
G14 やる気ありませんかって
End of
ナイトメアって
2013
答えた
looks
や
like.
つみんな覚えててナイトメアってすげえ言ってんのコメントで
I love how the comments from the West are, I love how they know all these details. And I'm sure Imi had sat into the interviews as well, but people were asking about, oh, are you going to make an FF14 1.0 classic like WoW Classic did theirs? And Yoshida answered, Nightmare. And so people are calling the time of 1.0 in Nightmare. It's awesome.
で
Nightmare.
2012年の11月11日にですね時代の終焉トレーラー公開とともにですね一旦申請の準備のために Q14 のサービスを、終了させていただいてます
And of course, in November 11th of 2012, we titled it The End of an Era, and we sort of closed the service for the original version of Final Fantasy XIV.
まあ、9番からねやってくださってる方も結構いるし、9番の捉え方って結構まちまちだとは思うんですけど、9番の
Yeah, they should do Final Fantasy XI
ラスト
Classic.
付
I'd
近
play
は
that.
それはそれでまた
My
独特の
chicken bowl is here.
ゲーム
Gonna go
デザイン
get
の
it.
メモと
The
して
chicken
？Let me
bowl.
know if there's
好きだった面
Yeah,
白
there's
くなったん
king-
だよって言
it's
ってくれる
Greek.
人たちもたくさんい
There's
て、
quinoa and feta
まあ
and
僕らはシャット
hummus
ダウン
in
するのを
it.
決めながらも
It's got
作
like
って
a whole,
た
but it's in a
とか
bowl
に対して
form.
そういう
Very
ね評価を
excited.
もらってたりするのは
I'll
と
let
て
you
もあ
know
り
if
が
you
たい
missed
ことな
anything.
ので、僕らもすごいね
I
実
won't.
は
I'm
励
pretty
み
sure I
にな
won't.
ってました。
And of course, people who have been playing since the original 1.0 may have their different opinions about how the game had played. But there were people who thankfully acknowledged how 14 was starting to shift, and they did take notice about how the game design was unique, despite we were looking to sunset the
Yeah, we'll go sit
original
in Valkyrie
version.
Dunes for
And so it was
30
wonderful
plus
that
hours.
People acknowledged that, and that was very encouraging
hang
for
out, fight
us as
some
a team.
Poogles,
ちなみに
No
9番
crabs.
から今日視聴してくださって
Die
る
in
方
the
で
tunnel of death,
914からやってるよって方どう
Make
です
our way
か
to
手を
Juno.
挙げてもらってもいいですか？
fight some more crabs.
So if I could have people in the comments, show of hands, I don't know how you raise your hands, but like anybody who's been playing since 1.0, the original Final Fantasy XIV, we would love to see who's been with us since then.
おめっちゃいるな。
すごい There's a lot.
Yoshi P doesn't know
Thank you
about a
very much.
meme.
すごいありがたい。
That's amazing. Thank you guys.
I want to
まあ
join
こ
that
こから
stream
ね
and
あ
just
と
be
10
like,
年お互い健康に気をつけて
I made
楽しんでいきましょう。
hey, Ollie.
But yeah, we're looking forward to the next 10 years. So yeah, let's all take care of our health and keep going. That's awesome.
で、2013年ですね、ベータテストをやりながら、2013年8月27日についに新生オルゼア正式サービス開始
Are you
することがで
excited
き
for
ました。
Final Fantasy XIV?
So
Yeah.
moving on, 2013, we start our beta testing for A Realm Reborn, and then August 27 of the same year, we were able to relaunch as A Realm Reborn.
I haven't
振
heard
り
this
返る
song
とですね
in about a month.
2011年
It's
の
crazy how
3月ぐらい
nostalgic it
か
is,
ら
man.
一気に新生14の
I
設
immediately am
計だ
taken
け
back to it.
5人ぐらいで設計をスタートして2011年の6月から6人のプログラマーがコードを書き始めたのを覚えてるので、実質そこから2年2ヶ月で新生リリースしてるので、もうちょっと驚異的今振り返ると。
And looking back, it was 2011 in March. We started at least doing the framework, just the design structure first. And it was a very small team that worked on it. It was 5 people who started on the base framework. And then starting June of that same year, 2011, we had 6 programmers starting to write code. And considering it took about 2 years and 2 months to relaunch, that's just incredible.
で、念願だったですねファンフェスっていうのを2014年の10月からですね、スタートすることができました。今でも覚えてます。
And of course, by 2014, October, we were able to hold our very first fan festival. That was something that we really wanted to do.
初めてやった北米のファンフェスの基調講演でステージに上がった時の大歓声でですね、もう足が震えて
Huh.
I still remember it today. The first time we did our fan festival, and we started out in the North
I'm gonna
America
go to a fan
region. And
festival
when I
eventually.
took the stage to do
I'll be
my
there.
keynote presentation, and just the cheer that I received from the audience, man, my legs were shaking when I was up there.
Huh.
で初の拡張であるヘブンズワード、2015年の6月にリリースして、その後の8月に、全世界累計登録者数が500万人を突破したと。
And then next, we were able to launch our first ever expansion pack, Heaven's Word, in 2015 June. And then soon after, we reached 5 million registered players.
でこの辺りはですね、我々開発チームもですね
What a mute
高難易度
Jesse.
高難易度って言われてよしやっちゃうぞって言ってもうキリッキリなのをやったらですね、いや難しすぎんだろうってなってですね、我々もいろいろな失敗を繰り返しつつですね、今につながってる本当重要な時期だったと思います、ここは。
But this is around the time when people were starting to clamor for higher difficult content, and the dev team got so excited about, oh yeah, you want difficult? And so we gave you a really tough content, and people started complaining now about, oh no, this is too difficult, Yoshida, this is too difficult. And so we were trying to find that balance. It was trial and error trying to get to that nice balance. But I think it was really important that we're making that conversation.
あれでね、僕は人生の格言の一つを学んだんですよ。プレイヤーの皆さんには、いやーちょっと簡単だったなって言われるぐらいがちょうどいいんだなと。
I turned it down.
And that
Thanks,
then,
pal.
it was then that I learned this
What?
very
Do you have auto adjust?
valuable lesson, which is I
No,
had
I'm fine.
just
What do you
to
mean?
keep the difficulty
You're so
where the
loud all of a
players
sudden.
would walk out of it saying, that was pretty easy.
I didn't do anything.
で、グレンのリベレーター
Alright, I adjusted.
を発売したのが2017年6月で、この辺りからようやくこうバトルコンテンツ以外の、そのもう14の世界に住むみたいなことをより具体化していけるようになったのがこのぐらいの時期で、それがね、功を奏してですね、登録者数が、この時点で1000万人突破と。
We're just recapping. Very chill so far.
And then, of course,
Yeah, super chill.
Stormblood released in 2017 June, and we started looking at various other types of content aside from battle and combat, content that would involve the feeling of living in the world of Final Fantasy XIV. And I think that really struck a chord with people. People were resonating with it, which thankfully got us to our registered player number up to 14 million players.
Tap your
思い
mic
出
in
さ
front
れ
of
る
you
グレ
real
ンのリベ
quick.
レーター初日のね、ラウバーン透滅戦。
すごかったですね。
Okay.
I hear it.
It's definitely on
And
auto
I
adjust
still
or
remember
something.
when
'Cause, like,
Stormblood
your
first
salad is
launched,
super loud.
Rauban Extreme. I
ありましたね。
Can't be on auto adjust.
think we
I've
all
done nothing
remember
different.
that.
あの失敗があってね、今の安定したキューイングシステムがあったりするからね。
But I mean, even with that failure, we learned from it, and we were able to build a much better queuing system.
そしてですね、2018年になると、全世界登録者
This
数
is
が
the first time I've
1000
ever
万
been
人
called loud. Usually people are mad I'm so quiet.
を突破して、2019年には、1600万人を突破と。ありがとうございます。
I can lower my volume if that works for you.
So I'm
No,
sorry,
no,
this
I've-
is
I've
where we
already
hit
done all that.
14 million
I was just
is
curious.
2018 August. And then moving on, we reached 16 million players by 2019
better?
May. So thank you so much for all the players that are staying with us.
そうして続けてですね、2019年に、漆黒のヴィランズを発売し、その年末にはですね、全世界累計登録者数が1800万人を、突破となりました。
And moving on, we released Shadowbringers in 2019, and soon after, we surpassed 18 million registered players.
I feel like Shadowbringers just came
数
out.
字
That's
に
crazy.
関して言うと、単純に数字だけをこう見ていくと、
I've heard
そ
that
の
as you get older,
なんていうの、増え
time
るペースっていうの
passes
がばらついてるように見える
It's
の
the
か
frame
もしれ
rate,
ないんですけど、実は体験したことのある人が増えれば増えるほど、新規が当然減るんですよね、パイが決まってるところから新しい人を呼ばなきゃいけないので、だからここまでの数字になってるのにさらに数百万増やしていくっていうこと自体はとてもすごいことで、これは本当ね、開発運営チームの努力もそうなんですけど、マーケティング PR チームが、コミュニティの皆さんと一緒になって達成してきてる数字なので、本当にこれはね、誇らしい数字だと思
what
って
is
ます。
Yuzu?
And looking at the numbers,
center, what is
it
that?
might seem like it's there's no real like nothing of note. Oh yeah, the numbers are just increasing. But if you consider
they have a Final Fantasy alcohol?
if we have a certain number of people already playing the
I
game,
have that wine.
and if we
I
have
didn't order it.
a single pie
but I want,
that
like,
we're taking numbers out of, like you would expect
whiskey.
the numbers to start going down, but it's interesting that we see more and more players join us even after all these years. We are seeing millions signing up. So, of course, I really want to acknowledge the development team, operations team, but also the marketing and PR teams working with the community to kind of promote the title and get the word out. So I'm very proud of their achievements.
そして2021年、去年ですね、12月2日にはですね、全世界累計登録者数が2500万人を突破し、ちょっと昨日の数字とかは見てないですけど、まだ全然まだ上がってってると思うので、で12月7日ですね、すみません、2週間ほどちょっと遅延をさせていただくことにはなってしまいましたが、行月のフィナーレを発売して、ハイデリンゾディアーク編完結というところまでこぎつけてこられたなと。
Of course, 2021, which is last year, we surpassed 25 million registered players. I did not see yesterday's numbers or like as of yesterday's numbers, but I do understand that our numbers are still increasing. And then afterwards, I know we had to delay the release by about 2 weeks.
Have they said how many copies Endwalker sold?
But we were able to release Endwalker, and finally we were able to conclude the overarching story of Heidelin and Zodiark.
まあ長かったようで、僕は結構あっという間の11年でした。でも本当にね、世界中のプレイヤーの皆さん、光の選手の皆さん、メディアの皆さんもね、関係各社の皆さんにも本当にものすごくこんなに支えてもらうタイトルは他にないだろうと思うぐらい支えていただいてここまで来れたので、改めて本当に感謝をお伝えしたいと思います。ありがとうございます。
And it feels like a long time, but man, these 11 years went by very quickly for me.
All right, we're 20 minutes into a 2-hour thing, so the next hour and 30 is all
members
about
of the media, all
years.
of our supporting partner companies as well. There were just so many people
I don't think so.
that
I think we got another
throughout
20
this
minutes
all. So I do want to take this opportunity to convey my gratitude from the bottom of my heart. So I sincerely thank everybody.
Did you play Lost Ark, by the way?
はい。まあ、あとは本当ね、開発チームにも本当に厳しいスケジュールでやってきてて、まあ実は拡張パッケージそのものの開発期間って1年とか、下手すると1年切ってたりするんで、本当に頑張ってきてもらいました。
And I also want to acknowledge the development team as well. They were always working against a very harsh schedule. And even developing some of our expansion packs. Sometimes we have only about a year or even less than a year to get through all of the tasks that needed to get done. So I really want to show my appreciation to them as well.
さて、ではこれを踏まえてですね、ここまで歩んできたその11年、9番の状態を考えれば、これ以上ないぐらいの成功をさせていただいたと思ってます。ここはあんまり言葉を隠さずに成功できてると思ってるので、それでいいと思ってるんですけど、まあここまではある意味もう過去になったので、ここからさらに次の10年また挑戦を続けていきたいと思います。
For people curious.
And looking at the trajectory here and the path we've walked down, I think I want to consider this a success from what we had taken and what state it was in when we had first taken on the project and to bring it to where it is now. I'm not ashamed to declare it. It might be a little awkward in the Japanese, but I believe it is a success. And I think it's a good thing that we've gotten here. But now that we have gotten this far, all of this is now in the past. And so we want to look to the future. We want to see what kind of challenges we can take on.
They're letting us know how time works.
というわけで2つ目のセクションである14の新しい挑戦と 題してですね、まあ今後どういうことやっていくよというのをお伝えしていきたいと思います。
I would lose my goddamn
So, for the
mind.
second part of this presentation, as you see, it is entitled Newfound Features.
I would call
So, I
Yoshi
would like
P
to
right
discuss
now.
what
I'd
we are
find his
intending
number and
to
be
do.
like, you
まずです
son
ね、
of a
僕としては
bitch.
ですね、社長からやめろって言われるか、まあやめろって言われても抵抗するとは思うんですけど、開発チーム運営チームからやめろって言われるか、死ぬかぐらいの以外では14をやめる気がなく続けていきますので、この先もぜひ皆さんよろしくお願いします。
And me personally, as Yoshida, unless the CEO says, Yoshida, you need to leave, and even then, I think I'm going to fight him. Or if like the development team, the operations team want to kick me out, or if I, God forbid, die. Those are the only extreme cases I would even consider leaving the 14 project. I want to continue working on Final Fantasy XIV, so your continued support will definitely be appreciated.
というわけでですね、まず今回その10年さらにこう14をせっかくねここまで日本初のそのサービスでこの規模まで来れるってなかなかあることじゃないので、この先の10年に向けてまずは 7.0 をめがけて、新しいことに挑戦していこうと思ってます。
So of course, with this title, and considering that this game was launched from a Japanese development studio and being able to expand to this global scope, it's a rarity, I think. And so my next goal, my future goal is now looking at 7.0 and leading up to that, what can we do?
コメントが
I made my first $2 million with only a small $1 million.
もうシナリオ会議の1回目やったから、合宿やったから、7.0 はやるよ。
People are already speculating about, oh no, 7.0 confirmed? Well, I mean, we are already talking about scenario for 7.0. I'm not afraid to say that we do intend on doing a 7.0.
まずここに向けてちょっとコンセプトを話をさせてもらいます。まずその一つ目がこちらになります。
Now, that being said, I do want to establish what my thinking is and the concept behind what we're trying to do leading up to 7.0. And this is the first point.
まあこれ具体的にどういうことっていうのはこの後ちゃんとお話ししようと思います。
And of course, I will go into detail as to what this exactly means.
そしてですね、
7.0
に向けて、チャレンジとしてですね、こちら、第1次グラフィックスのアップデートの準備開発っていうのをやっていきます。
That's important.
And then next, again, leading up to 7.0, and one of the challenges that we want to take on is our first graphical update, at least the preparation and the development for it.
まあなんで第一次ってついてるかっていうのも後でねこの項目の掘り下げでちょっとお話ししようと思います。
And of course, when we dive into each of these different points, I will touch upon why we are calling this the first graphical update.
まあ一応先に言っとくコメントが結構多いんで7.0 で PS4 が遊べなくなるってことはないです。それはないのでしておきます。
Yep, that's what it sounds like.
I do want to clarify though, because I am seeing a lot of comments wondering about this. This does not necessarily mean that we are ceasing the support for PS4 as of 7.0. So I do want to clear that out first.
How dare you?
そしてですね、今日3つ目、せっかくなのでパッチ 6.x シリーズでどんなことをやっていくかというのもお知らせします。
And then the third point, I mean, since we are here, I would like to take the opportunity to cover what we are planning to do throughout the 6.x series as a sort of roadmap.
That's good.
はい、では各項目、
What if they
詳しく
show the
よりお
new
伝えしてい
graphic
こうと思います。
update?
Diving into the details.
I'd be very impressed if they showed that right now.
What?
まずコンセプトの一つ目ですね。一人
Oh
で
shit,
も
they're
みんな
making
で
it a
も遊べ
single
る
player
RPG へ、さらなる
MMORPG.
進化をしていきますと。
I guess. What does that mean?
So our first concept, an even better RPG,
Some sort of
alone
RPG
or with
MMO.
friends.
これまあ何かというとですね、まあ読んで字のごとくなんですけど、そのファイナルファンタジー
More trust for every
一応
activity,
ジャンル
maybe?
としては MMORPG って呼ばれてます。
So, I mean,
I think the trust
it
worked
is
very, very well.
what it says,
do it, Dave.
of course, but yes, I understand that Final Fantasy XIV as a game genre would be categorized as an MMORPG.
そこでですね、まあ、僕この11年ファイナルファンタジー14をやってきて、世界中のこうプレイヤーの皆さんとイベントだったりこう、まあ、ファンフェスも含めてですけど、本当たくさんのゲーマーの人たちとこう話をしてきました。
And of course, throughout the 11 years of doing Final Fantasy XIV, we did various events, gaming events, including Fan Festival, and I had the opportunity to speak with the different gamers.
そこでですね、あとそのマーケティングチームに市場調査とかをしてもらって、まあ、これね定期的に拡張のたびにやってるんですけど、やっぱりこうそこで出てくる答えっていうのが、まあ、なかなかブレイクスルーできないなっていうのがあったりします。
And of course, I would have my marketing teams perform market research as well. And this is something we regularly do when we start to plan for upcoming expansion packs. And with the information that we receive, and there's always like a question that we never seem to find a way to break through.
2つあって、1つはファイナルファンタジーシリーズ大好きなんだよ、すごいファンなんだ、全部やってるよ、ただし11と14以外ねっていうのがめちゃくちゃ悔しい。
So there's actually two, and one of them is we see there's a lot of players that love Final Fantasy and many that claim they've played all of the Final Fantasies except for 11 and 14, which is very frustrating.
まあ11もね、今かなりアップデートをかけてかなり大部分ねソロで遊べるように快適にしてますが、
So it can be a single player game.
先へ行きたいと思ってます。
All those escort things like I was talking about with you before.
We are paying attention to Final Fantasy XI players as well, and we've made various updates. I think it has become very solo friendly recently, but with Final Fantasy XIV, we want to go beyond that.
あとはこうもう一つはですね、オンラインなんだよね、めんどくさい、人と遊ぶの嫌、なんかこう人間関係作るの嫌っていうのがですね、やっぱりナンバーワンなんですよね、そのプレイをしない理由っていうところで。
The second point we are trying to reach a breakthrough is people who comment about, oh, online play, I don't want to deal with having to play with other people. I don't want to develop relationships online. And that's actually a very large reason, if not the number one reason, many players kind of hesitate playing 14.
だから10年かけて MMORPG っていうジャンルじゃなくて、一人でもみんなでも遊べる RPG っていうジャンルにしたいと、14を。
So what I want to do here is spend the next 10 years and break out of that MMORPG category. I want this to be an RPG that can be enjoyed alone or with friends.
まずなので、7.0 で
large scale updates to the
フェイ
trust
スシス
system.
テムの大規模アップデートっていうのをやっていきます。
Telling you, they're gonna let us run around with the crew.
So as
outside
a
of
lead up
dungeons.
to 7.0 or until that time, we will continue to make updates to the trust system.
パッチ 6.1 から 6.5 までの 5つのメジャーパッチで全メインクエストの必須 ID と4人用の透滅戦を全てフェイス対応します。
Holy
So as it
shit.
says here, trust compatibility for all main scenario dungeons and 4-player trials to be
That's
added
great.
In patch 6.1 through 6.5.
What about 8-man
まあ
trials?
順次なので
Is there any
ね、パッチ
MSQ
例え
8-mans?
ば 6.2 とかを見ると中途半端なところまでしか対応されてないとかいうことが
Yeah, there is a
あ
lot.
る可能性は高いんですけど、それにね怯えているといつまで経ってもできないので全部一気には不可能なので、もうなのでこの 6.1 から 6.5 つまり 7.0 までの間を次に飛び上がるために
Yeah, I guess there's three
どんどん
every
順次やっていくという期間に当てさせてください。
And so, of course, these are going to be incremental
Or 4.
implementation. And so you might look at, say, patch 2 point something and
I think they're talking about
6.2,
the
and
A
you
Realm
might
Reborn
notice
trials.
that maybe not all of the dungeons
or
have
4-man.
been supported with a trust system compatibility. But if we are afraid to make progress and be just in the middle of work in a certain major patch update, we won't be able to make progress. I think it's impossible to do everything at once. So we are trying to address this as we can, and we're looking at this as a preparation for 7.0. And so we would like to ask for your understanding as we lay these foundations.
その第1弾となるパッチ 6.1 では申請ロールズや変のうち、2.0 範囲をすべて対応します。
So 6.1 is going to have
So the first
ARR.
implementation, patch 6.1, will make a Realm Reborn, and this is just patch 2.0 range, and the scenarios duty become trust compatible.
そしてですね、
awesome for new players.
それに伴って一部初期のですねメインクエスト ID とか、透滅戦もリニューアルします。
Oh, it says right there.
And then
A-player
further
trials.
improvements will be made to some low-level main scenario dungeons and trials.
でちょっと注意なんですけど、蒼天の石ガルドに入ってからの8人透滅戦ストーリー上に出てくるあれらはちょっとやっぱりコストを全見積もりしたんですけど、どうしてもこう 6.1 から 6.5 までの期間では対応しきれないので、8人の透滅戦に関しては 7.0 以降順次対応していくつもりです。
You may see the disclaimers on the bottom, but for the 8-player trials, especially those with the Heaven's Word expansion, I'm afraid we are unable to
trust system is
update it at this time. We tried to calculate all the cost and the resources that it would take for us to address all of this within that sort of 6.1 through 6.5 timing, but I'm afraid we would be unable to allocate the resources for it. So we will get to it after 7.0. Yeah, these updates will be considered for 7.0 or later.
まあもちろん皆さんご存知の通り、その通常のねマッチングがなくなるわけじゃないので、あくまでストーリーを一人で進めていきたいっていう人のための機能なので、レベリングルーレットだったりねマッチングっていうところはそのまま継続していくので、そこはご承知おきください。
And of course, we don't intend to do away with the regular matching systems. Your leveling dungeons and queue matching and duty finders will still be active and available. These trust compatibility is primarily for those who have a strong desire to play through these story dungeons on their own.
で、ですね、8人透滅戦は今回行月のフィナーレでハイデリン透滅戦でテストケースとしても含めてやったんですけど、やれることはなんだろう確証を得られたんですけど、まあ、相当やっぱりコストがかかるっていうのと、ギミックから調整していかないといけないっていうこともあって、まずは数の多い ID から優先させていただいてます。あとはね8人なんで責任半のかかり方がちょっと減るんでやっぱり。まあここは逆にマッチングの面白さみたいなところも味わってもらいたいので、一旦7.0 以降にさせてください。
And of course, with these 8-people trials or 8-person battles, we did try it out with the Mother Crystal trial, and we were able to see success as like a test case, but it did require a lot of resources for us to build it. And then if we were to start applying that system to existing dungeons, we'd have to adjust the mechanics so that it would accommodate for the trust system. So at this time, we made the decision to move forward with just the instanced dungeons. And with an 8-person trial, I think that sort of reduces the responsibility per person going into the match, hopefully. So we're hoping that players would still jump into like a duty finder and hopefully get the enjoyment out of matching up with random people. So at this time, we are unable to address it within the 6.1 through 6.5 period, but we are looking to it for 7.0 or later.
でちょっと注意なんですけど、まあどうしてもフェイスっていう呼び方をすると、暁といけるのかなとか、7NPC といけるのかなっていうイメージがちょっと強いと思うんですけど、ストーリー上こう そのマッチングでしか行けないからこそ、じゃあ俺は他のことをやってくるみたいなのでこうみんなちょっといなくなったりとかしてたと思うんですよ。あれまで全部変えるはさすがに無理なので
That's a good point. If you were doing this
特
as
に
an
序盤とか
RPG,
は
being able to have an
冒険
affiliate
者
in
ギル
your
ドのメン
group
バー
would
だ
give
ったり
her
とか
purpose she
暁
does
の
not currently have
光の
in 2.0.
なんだろう
It's a valid
こう
point.
光の加護を持ってい
If you
る
like
で
an
あろう
affiliate,
他のメン
suddenly
バー
she
みたい
means
なイメー
something
ジ
to you.
で組むケースが多いです。
And I want to make another point of caution here. Whenever we say trust compatibility, I think the thought that, oh, can we go into this dungeon with members of the Scions
There we
or
go.
any sort of named NPCs? And some of these story dungeons have key players kind of leaving the scene, like where the warrior of light goes into a dungeon and say somebody goes up and say, oh, I'm going to take care of matters over there. We can't have them come back just to join you in the dungeon. So in those cases, especially the earlier dungeons, you will see your trust members as like members from the Adventurers Guild or maybe other people who have the Echo
Wait.
accompany you in these dungeons.
You said other people in
た
the.
だ
Adventurers Guild
キ
and
ーに
people
な
who have
る
the Echo.
ストーリー上の
Nice.
キーになるポイン
I
ト
love
で
that.
まあこいつはやっぱり本当はダンジョン一緒に行ってほしかったなってプレイヤーの皆さんが思ってるようなポイント
Give me that
は
hoary
シナリ
boulder.
オ一部カ
And then
ットシーン
hoary
も含めて
boulders.
ちょっと変更してでもできるだけ
Something
それ
like that.
にまあ添えるようにやっぱ
Yeah,
ニ
Aaron
ゼックと
involvement.
対峙するときはエスニアンも行って欲しかったなみたいなやつはできる限りそういうシチュエーションはなんとか対応していこうと思ってるので、一部ねそれもちょっと変更する部分があるかなとは思います。全部は無理なんで、はい、そこはご了承ください。
But that being said, there are certain key points in the story where we do understand players might have a very strong desire to have particular NPCs accompany you in a dungeon. So in some extreme cases, and not extreme cases, but like some key points, the team will make some adjustments. We may have to change a part of the script so that it'll make sense for the character to join you. An example I can come up with off the top of my head is probably the Nidhogg battle. I'm sure a lot of people would have thought like, oh, it would have been nice to have Estinian join as part of the Trust NPC. So we're considering having that available. So there may be some content that accommodates for certain NPCs to join you. I'm afraid we can't address all of them. We can't make it happen with all of the dungeons. So your understanding on that would be appreciated.
That'd be fun.
そしてですね、ごめんねちょっと長くて、6.1 特集パート1の時にまた詳しくお話ししようと思いますが、新生ウォルゼアの後半って結構今のレギュレーションと違ってしまってるこうダンジョンとかが多いので、かなり手が入ってますいろいろ。
And of course, with the details of 6.1, we will have a dedicated live letter for that, and I will delve into details at that time. But I do want to mention that much of the content, especially in the later half of ARR, differ in how the regulation is set up. So there are changes that have been made.
まあ例えばトトラクとかの、ドゥーンってなってヘビースローがかかるヘビーがかかる床とかなくなってます。
One sec.
For example, like when you go into the Thousand Miles of Totorak, and you step on those like poison floors, and all of a sudden
and you think to yourself, "Boy, I don't want to do this anymore."
With heavy or slow, we're actually getting rid of that.
あとはちょっと Q14 から申請するのに急いで作ってちょっとライティング良くないなとかいうところのダンジョンもちょっと絵的な調整もそれなりにやってます。
Wait, what did I miss?
And
Chat's
there are
freaking out.
also some aesthetical changes that we wanted to make.
Like
there were certain
some of the
areas
things that
of,
slow you or
the
that kind of
earlier
stuff in old
part of
dungeons, like they were saying the
14,
Thousand Maws.
when we were trying to quickly just relaunch as a Realm Reborn. So there were areas where lighting may not have been 100% to what we would have been satisfied with. So we went back in and adjusted those as well.
そしてですね、まあ他にもですね、8人まあ 8人パーティーバトルの一番最初であるビットアッティン教習戦なんですけど、なくなります。
And then one of the first 8-person party battles that you encounter, I believe, is Camp Westwind. And I want to mention that we are doing away with that.
皆さん大ショックを受けておられます。People are getting shocked.
帝国の盾としてね、武人として身を挺してやってきたね、帝国将軍の一人、まあ将軍ではないけど正しくは8人でフルボッコはいかがなものかということでですね、ちゃんとコストをかけてですね、クエストインスタンスバトルとして、生まれ変わりますので。
Jesse, there's just multiple versions of this.
Considering Litatine is like the shield of the Garland Empire. I mean, he's technically not a captain, but like, I mean, he's like a very prominent figure. I think it would be very humiliating for 8 people to come in and just beat him up. So we actually allocated the resources to rebuild that battle so that it's going to be a quest instanced battle that you go in.
まあ他にも内閣外閣と呼ばれている8人ダンジョン、あれらもですね、今回すべて4人用 ID に作り直してあります。
And then of course, the Praetorium and the Castrum Meridian, sorry, I can't pronounce it. Meridianum. Those very long Guardian bases that you need to go. They were originally 8-person content, but we are going to be changing it so that these are 4-person instanced dungeons.
Whoa.
なのでアルテマウェポン戦も切り出して、4人用としてシナリオモードを作って、であとラハブレアが憑依したサンクレットさんを8人でただひたすら無言で殴るっていうのもストーリー用のクエストインスタンスバトルとして作り直しているので
大工事です。
はい。
And so your battle with Ultima, or the Ultima weapon, will be changed to a 4-person battle. We are adjusting the scenario mode for that. And then where you go in and silently beat up La Habrea, aka Thancred being possessed by La Habrea, is also going to be adjusted so that it's like an instance during a story quest.
というわけで、まあそんな風にコストもですね、レギュレーション今のプレイフィールにできるだけ近づけられるように、いろんな改修をしつつですね、パッチ 6.1 から 6.5 にかけて、4.x までの ID ですね、全部対応していこうと思いますので、よろしくお願いします。
So, yeah, in a nutshell, we are going in and making many adjustments so that it fits with kind of follows suit better with how the game feels at this time. So throughout patch 6.1 through 6.5, we will be looking at the various content up to the 4.x series, the different instance dungeon to make adjustments.
さあではこのセクション以上で次へ行きたいと思います。
Okay, so moving on to the next section.
Oh, graphics.
2つ目の新しい挑戦ですね。この、6.1 から 6.5 までの期間、まあ、
This is huge.
リリースまでの期間を使ってですね、
I hope we get images.
まあ、
長期運営やっていく上で第一次のグラフィックスアップデートを、裏でね作業させていただきます。
So our second
I mean, we're still on PS4. I don't know that we're getting too crazy.
The preparation that we will
as
be
long as
doing
there's no
throughout
PS5s.
6.5, leading up to the launch of 7.0. It is a long-term, or like preparations for long-term operation of the game, and we want to be doing this in the background, but we'll be preparing for our first graphics update.
ただ、まあ、なぜ第一次グラフィックスアップデートと言ってるかっていうと、まあ2時も3時もあるんだろう、もしかしたらってことなんですけど、なぜかというともうここまで11年運営してきてると、もう尋常じゃないリソース、グラフィックスアセットが存在してます。はい。
So the reason why we named this the first graphical update, and that's of course to imply that there will probably a second and or third after this, but Our game has been in operation for about 11 years, and considering all the graphical assets we have produced, it's an insane amount.
やっぱり一気に
This would be the
極限
biggest
ま
troll
で
in the
上げよう
world
とすると
if
絶
they
対
just
コ
showed
ン
an
バ
image of those
ートミ
grapes,
スがあ
but
ったり
like
と
in
かそも
HD.
そもコンバートの物理時間が足りなくて
They were like,
もう
"We finally
デザインチー
given
ム
you
が
what you
無理です
wanted."
絶対できませんっていう答えになってしまうの
HD
でまあやれることを一回やって引き上げたらまたその状態で安定が見えたら次のをやってっていう形で、まあその第1回目が来るんだというふうに思ってください。
And so, if we attempted to update every single piece of graphical asset or resource that we've put into the game all at the same time, we might run into issues of conversion errors, or it's just physically takes a lot of time
The
to
entire
convert
official
everything.
chat is all grape
And
emojis.
consulting with the graphics
Shouting grape,
team,
grape, grape.
I think
they
he just saw that.
already
That's why
know
he's
that we
laughing.
can't
Yeah.
address
That's why he's
everything
laughing.
all at the same time. And
I
so
hope
what we're trying to do
everyone sees
is
that.
address these in phases so that we can test out certain elements, see how they work, and if it seems to be stable, we move into the next phase. And so I think with our first graphical update, this will be like the first time we start testing some of these elements.
4K グレープスでめっちゃ吹いたんだけど
Yes!
I saw a comment that says 4K grapes. Thank you so much for that. That was hilarious.
あそこに 4K とかねなんか40万ポリゴンとかかけてるとそれこそ Q40 みたいにキャラクター全然表示できねえぞってことになっちゃうのでまあちょっとこれから詳しく説明はしますよ。
That's hilarious, but like imagine spending so much resources just to get the grapes to be 4K resolution, and imagine spending 400,000 polygons just to depict a piece of fruit. We won't have enough resources to render our characters on screen.
We could.
But let me go into the
But
details.
what if those characters were all grapes? Put it out there.
そのグラフィックスアップ
So
デート
7.0 is
が
gonna be the
一気に
first one.
7.0 での投入を予定
A
してま
grape
す。
walks on screen, and you're like, "Are you a grape?" And he's like, "No,
So
this is
again,
stank grape." And
these
everyone's
graphical
happy.
updates are
Everyone's happy.
intended to be implemented in 7.0.
まあその次期拡張パッケージまでの間っていうのをまあ僕らのそのグラ
Dude,
フィ
if
ッ
they
ク
do
ス
a
のアップデー
graphics
トのシェーダー
update
追加し
for
たりとか、
7.0,
いろん
that
なものを追加
expansion
してい
launch
く
could
テス
be
ト期間だったり
real
プログラム期間だったり
That
そ
could
の
be
それに
real
合わせ
risky.
たグラフィックスアセットのコンバート期間というふうにさせてください。
So until 7.0, this will be, again, our preparation period. So this is where our team will be testing out various additions to the graphical elements, including different shaders. We'll probably need to write more programs. This is where when we're going to be doing our asset conversions, etc.
Wow.
でここが重要なんですけど、あくまでやっぱりマルチプレイのゲームであるっていうのをぜひ覚えておいてほしくて、やっぱり画面全体の美しさ、9番から申請した時に感じていただいたようにやっぱり総合的な美しさ、世界の美しさっていうのを追求していきますよ、コンセプトとしてはね。
I don't know. I think he's about to
Of
explain
course,
it.
one key point that we want players to understand is that this is still a multiplayer game. And so we want to strive for the aesthetic quality of the overall picture and looking at the sort of beauty or the element, aesthetically pleasing sort of overall picture.
だってこうまさにね発売されたホライゾンのさクオリティでさ動くと思われたら困るわけだ
Did
よ
he just say
あれで
Horizon?
俺たち300人とか描画しなきゃいけないんでいやできはするんだけどみんなの PC 動かないよ。
確か
And I see games like Horizon Forbidden West, and I don't want to get people to
gorgeous.
think that we'll
It's absurd.
raise our graphic quality to that. It's amazing, yes, but imagine having to render 300 different characters on screen at the same time at that quality. And
I feel
it's
bad
not
that
physically impossible, but then I don't think it's
There's
going to run on
clearly a
anybody's
segment of
PC.
fan that I don't think
そこは覚えといて
understands.
ねみんなね。
So
I don't
please,
know.
please
I don't
keep
like
that in
games in.
mind.
Like, I don't think anyone's
ここを
expecting
ね
it
な
to
ん
be
か
like
勘違いされるのが一番怖い。
the next great graphical
That's
masterpiece.
the
It's just an
scariest thing
improvement.
for people
Yeah.
to kind of misconstrue.
Every time Yoshi's
で、
just like,
当然なんですけ
So
ど、
let me spend
アニメーション
45 minutes
とか
on this.
まあその
Like,
世界
it's alright,
全
we're all
体
good.
画面全体の美しさっていうところにやっぱりアニメーションとかライティングシステムっていうのも大きく寄与していると思うので、このあたりもアップデートしていきます。
And of course, considering the sort of overall aesthetic, animation is going to be a key element we're looking at. Lighting is another element that we want to adjust as well.
まあ例えばアニメーションに使ってい
Yeah, I think a lot of
る
the armor
よくねメ
needs
モリがって言われますけ
Just
ど、
like
メモリの割り当て
Yeah,
を
just
ちょっと増や
texture.
す
It's all
ことによ
texture.
って今までより
If they did
長
that,
尺の
people
声
would
の
be
オートモー
so
ションが作れるとか、
Yeah.
あと
Just make it so
まあ
it,
その
like,
ライティング
Armor
が
texture doesn't
ライトの数
look
が増えることで
as if I'm playing on a PS3,
バック
but
グラ
the
ウンド
text
Yeah,
of the
when the
game is a
camera
見えて
4K.
きてリソースに手
when
を
the
加え
camera
なくても綺
zooms
麗に
in,
見え
I
る
don't
みたい
want
な
to see
と
the
ころもあるので
pixelated like breastplate.
Yeah.
You know.
So
That's
what
it.
we mean by different updates to animation and lighting systems is, for example, I know people would automatically start talking about, oh yeah, memory issues with animation. So if we
You can make the game look
revisit
really
some
good
of the allocation
non-official
of
format right
the
now.
memory for animation,
And if they just do that,
it
it'll
might
look great.
allow us to create emotes with a longer animation loop, or with lighting, they're just having more lights than we had originally set up would allow for details that would have been sort of washed out or like not visible because of insufficient lighting to kind of show up. And so that will allow for an improvement in the graphical quality without us even having to adjust the elements that are already in the game.
まあ重要なところです。
はい。
スタンドアローンのゲームクオリティにはなりません。これをですね皆さん頭にすり込むためにもですね寝る前に必ず一度復唱していただきたいぐらい。
And again, very important point. I want to stress again, the new graphics will not be comparable to those of standalone titles. This is again very important. I want you to remember it. I want
God,
you to
that's gonna
repeat it
be
before you
TP
go to
fees all over
bed.
again.
That's how much I want people to remember.
まあとはいえやっぱりグラフィックスいろいろ手を入れてパフォーマンスというかね
He's obsessing over
処理は
like a few
より
people that
動作が
cannot
重くな
manage
りはするので
expectations.
7.0 では最低動作保証スペックの条件がまあ変わるのは
It just
確
seems
定
like
で
a very
す。
obvious,
た
like it's
だ
not
でき
gonna
るだけ
be
多くのスペックにね対応できるっていうところ
Horizon
は
Forbidden
これまでの
Dawn
ポリシーでもあるので捨て
Forbidden
ずにやって
West,
いきたいと
Forbidden
思って
Dawn.
ます。
So that being said, we do want to update the graphics for sure. And so that means your processor might require more power in order to render these graphics properly or like efficiently. So we will probably have to update the system requirements for your machines and your PCs. We will try our best to accommodate
Good.
for as many models of machines to accommodate with the changes, but we do want to make you aware that it is pretty much guaranteed that we will have to update the system requirements.
でやっぱり気になるプレイステーション4なんですけど、この 6.x 期間中に、先行投入すると思いますけど PS4 版の最適化をやっていきます。
And I know people are wondering about PlayStation 4 support as of 7.0. I think what's going to happen, and this will probably be done prior to the launch of 7.0, so sometime within the 6.x series, we do want to optimize the PS4 version for sure.
でそのさらにですねまあ PC 版にあるようにグラフィックスオプションのカスタムっていうの PS4 版少ないんですけど、あれを増やしてですね新しいその描画とか入れるとやっぱ重くなる部分があるので重くても綺麗でいいやっていう人はオンにしてもらえばいいんだけど、まあ、オフにしてそのフレームレートを優先するみたいなことができるようにしていくので PS4 のサポートっていうのも少なくとも 7.0 のタイミングではしっかりやりますので。
So, and on top of that, there are various graphical configurations that you can set up on the PC version. Like you can customize some of the like display options, and we understand that it's a bit lacking in the PS4 version. So we do want to implement options in the configuration so that you can select like prioritize frame rate, or if you want to, if you're okay with performance kind of dropping slightly, but still have the graphics performance, then you can select that option, whatnot. So I do want to assure you that we will continue supporting for PS4 at least until 7.0.
Whoa!
Oh.
みんなどう思う
Are we going to talk about this?
What people's reactions are.
What the fuck?
俺かと思ったって言ってる
Some people think, oh, is that me?
そうそうそうなんかさ
I don't know how I feel about seeing the Derplender's
これ
pores.
じゃない
I don't know. Like I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, that's pretty impressive if that's what
I
that's going to
don't
look
think
like.
this is what we are looking for. This is not what we would desire.
なんか疲れた吉田って書かれてる
Some people are saying this looks like a very tired Yoshida.
そうなんか違うでしょ
Yeah, but it kind of does feel awkward.
まあここまでリアルにはならんす
What the fuck?
So we
Yeah, I was about to say,
aren't going to be
I
working
don't know that
to
I'm not
make it
comfortable
look
with
this
his
real.
pores. No, it's, yeah.
まあいわゆるフォトリアルを追求していくとグラフィックスアップデートってこっちに行きがちなんですけどおそらくファイナルファンタジー14の世界やキャラクターが気に入ってくださってる方って多
What
分
if
こっち
that's
を求めてはいない
Final
と思って
Fantasy
ます
16 renderer right there?
And
No way.
some
The
games,
hair
of course,
still looks like Final Fantasy
their
14 hair.
Maybe
intent
so.
is
Like,
to lean towards that
pixelation is
photorealistic
way off.
depiction, and people tend to lean in this direction. But I think for those who enjoy the aesthetic of Final Fantasy XIV, this is not necessarily what we want to begin with.
では今そのグラフィックスアップデートって
That was
実は
strange
テス
because no
ト
one spoke.
開発もスタートさせてるんですけ
He
ど
just looked around.
テストスタートしてから
Yeah,
ま
he was just
だ
watching
1ヶ月と1週間ぐらいなんですね
I would have too.
So with these graphical updates, we are already starting testing actually, and it's been about
Oh, wow.
a month and a week.
なのでその1ヶ月と1週間ぐらいテストをして
Are they gonna show
こ
us
れだったら
something?
もう
I
もう
hope
今
so.
出してもまあいけるだろうここまではとまあこれ以上を目指すんだけどまあ少なくとも一旦お見せしてもここまでは間違いなく大丈夫であると 7.0 でっていうのを用意してきたんでちょっと見ていきましょうか
And so we are still very early in our testing stages, again, about a month or so testing, but we
Show
do
us.
have results that we're seeing that
us.
is, of course, we're going to aim higher than what we're going to be showing you, but it's
Nice. They are
I
going to
think
show
it's
us.
coming out pretty nicely, and we are relatively confident. So let us show you some
Here we
of
go.
these images.
こちらがですねテスト期間1ヶ月目のサンプルです、
Okay.
キャラクタ
I
ーです
actually
ね
like that a lot. I think that looks great.
That looks
So from
fine.
first month of testing. So this is one of the samples.
That's very good.
これ左が今で
I don't see
右
his
がテク
pores.
スチャーをハイレゾリューション化してます髪の毛も含め
Yeah.
てであとシェーダーを、1枚入れてます
And so what you're seeing is the current image on the left, and then on the right, we've made the textures
The
high
hair itself
resolution,
is
and
just
we've
enough.
added a layer of shaders.
あと、
Yeah.
セルフシャドウって
The shader, you
言
can
っ
see
て
that,
自分の髪の毛の影が顔に落ちた時まあその自分のオブジェクトが自分に影を落とすのをセルフシャドウって言うんですけどそこも調整してるので結構ねセルフシャドウ実はすごい気になっててカットシーンとかでも
And one thing that we did pay attention to was the self shadow, or whenever there's like an object that drops a shadow on yourself, especially if you look at the bangs and the shadow it casts underneath it.
That's true.
That was something that I was kind of I wanted to address looking at the cutscenes in the past.
I mean, the ear
まあこ
actually
れ1
looks
ヶ
like an
月
ear.
目
It
のサ
doesn't
ンプ
just look
ル
like
な
a
ので
fucking
もっと
like
上目指せ
cut
るとは
out
思ってるんですけど
origami
動
type
作保
thing
証
attached
あ
to
まり
the
にも重くならないっていう意味では
Yeah.
今一旦お見せできるのはこ
The
こ
thing
ま
I
で
think is
まあ
great
こ
is
の上
the
さらにいろんなことをやった上で最適化
like
していて
this part of
で
the face.
まあやれる
Yeah.
The
より
detail
高い
is
ところを
so
目指していこうかな
much
と思
better.
ってます
Yeah.
So of
in
course
some
we do want to
cutscenes, you
strive
might actually
for
be able to see
even
little
better,
JC's
but at this time, I
freckles
think
that only show
from
up
1
on
month
when
of
I load my
testing and
character
making
in.
sure that
You never see them otherwise.
the game itself runs properly.
That looks
I
cool.
think this is what we can show at this time, and then we'll continue to test and we'll continue to sort of improve and then apply optimization.
まあいわゆるヒロシと呼ばれてる
Now,
彼でやるとこんな
let's
感
see
じ。
some actual, like, you know,
Or
real
Dark
characters, not. No,
Renders.
yeah, no one plays this
で
person.
ちょっとミコット
Okay.
のサンプルです。
Here we go. Here we go.
Hey!
That looks good.
Here's a sample of the
Your girl
Mikote.
Render Ray.
まあ
Back
戦
at
月
it again.
賞の
That looks so
ボ
much
ケ
better.
具合が、まあなくなったりですね。髪の毛の柔らかいその
white,
カールの
like
印象
hair
と
look
かちゃんと出
actually
てると
looks
まあセルフシャドウがボケてないんでね、綺麗に
Not
かか
like
る
you're
ように
just
なります。
Sephiroth.
Of course, you may notice the face paint.
That's
The
great.
war paint is a
Look at
lot
the eyes. The
crisper
eyes are
now.
very detailed.
And then, as mentioned earlier, self shadow is nicer. I think it's brings out the softness of her face.
まあこれがだいたい1ヶ月目だっていうのをぜひ認識しておいてく
Now,
ださい。
that's what I'm talking about.
And then just to remind you,
Yo!
this is
That looks
after
very
testing
good.
for about a month.
That's Giga Chad right there.
That dude is gonna be memed to shit.
Yeah, that's like the you versus the you, or the girl, the guy you should be worried about or whatever,
まあこ
worried
の
about.
方向性で良さそうよね、やっぱりね。みんなのコメン
He
ト見
even
てる
has
と。
like a more like his
Looking at
lips
everybody's comments,
Yeah.
it
are more
seems
detailed.
like we are on the
And
right
I like
track in
the like
terms of like the direction we want to take
the
it to.
hair
So it's
pores.
Yeah, it looked like
Yeah.
ララフェルがね、
あ
一番
Oh
難しいんですよ。
Oh Jesus!
Yo!
And the Lalfell was actually quite challenging.
Those ears look wild.
なんかリアルにするところがなくて。
There are no areas really to make it quote unquote realistic, you know.
That's kind of scary looking, to be
まあで
honest.
も髪の毛綺麗になるん
How dare
で
you.
目の
kinda
周りは
terrifying.
ものすごく
Lalafell's the
鮮
most
明になっ
real
て
of
まあ
us
キャラメイ
all.
クしておけばねもちろんいろん
Lalafell's
なパ
don't
ター
have
ン
a
作れるとは
chin.
思うんですけど
But I think the hair has definitely gotten more defined, and then the
Also, the front of her
eyes,
face is like
has become
if
very
you remove the front of her hair,
crisp,
how big is that
and it
forehead?
looks a lot more alive, so to speak. And
If she
with
had no
being able
bangs there.
to character
You know what?
create,
Don't-
I
you know
think
what? It's
it'll
fine.
have like it
It's
will
fine.
allow for
Don't
players
ask
for
questions.
a broad range.
そうね肌の感じをどこまでそのなんだろう本当にツルツルにするのかララフェルは、こう少しそうは言ってもちゃんと肌っていう感じを出すのかは、結構ね調整が難しいところだとは思ってるので、ただ皆さんが求めてるであろう方向性は理解してるつもりなので、しっかり種族ごとにですね調整しながらいきたいなと思ってます。
And it's still a challenge to figure out how do we depict the surface of their skin. Like, do we make it completely like flawless, spotless, or do we actually give it some texture to make it look like skin? We want to believe that we understand what the players are looking for, but it is something that we still need to kind of explore.
まあなんて言ったってね11年も皆さんと一緒にこのゲーム作ってきてるんで、
そうですね
皆さんが求める方向は理解してるつもりではあります。はい。
But again, we've been with you guys for about 11 years at this time, so we want to believe that we understand what the players are looking for.
ですいませんちょっとテスト1ヶ月目ということでですねキャラクターサンプルとしては以上になります。またなんだろう途中でねファンフェスのタイミングとかあればまた途中経過とかね、お知らせしていけたらなと思ってます。
So yeah, because we are still in the early stages of testing, as for character samples, that is all that we have at this time. We're hoping that we can continue to update everybody on the status. Perhaps maybe next time we can do it at like a fan festival or something like that.
じゃあ改めてですねそのキャラクターまずそのグラフィックス第一次グラフィックスアップデートで
We
キャ
gotta
ラ
go
ク
to
タ
that
ー
fan
に関する
fest,
表現のアップデート項目をお知らせしていきます。
Okay, so just wanted to recap all of the different elements that we look to update for our first set of graphical updates in terms of characters.
まずですね全体的にテクスチャーを高解像度にしていきます。髪とか肌とかそれから今日ちょっとねご紹介できてないですけど装備品のテクスチャーの解像度も上げていきます。
Elizin? No one plays
first
that
one
race.
would be
So
higher
they didn't
resolution
render them yet.
textures, which includes hair, skin, and
Damn.
we weren't able to show any
Damn.
examples today, but we do want to improve the textures of the gear as well.
で
That's
さら
important.
にですね、これは
Good.
シェーダー
Great.
と呼ばれる、
Dude, if
処
they
理に
get
なって
those
くる
two
んですけど、
changes right
質
there,
感の
the
表
game will
現というのを
look
向上
infinitely
させ
better.
ていきます。例えば
Yeah,
肌、
that'll be huge.
それから装備品の金属部分、あと布って、布用のシェーダーっていうのが実はあって、Q14 では入れてたんですけど、重すぎて外してるんですね。そろそろいけるだろうということで、布がもう少し滑らかに布っぽく見えるっていうシェーダーなどを今、研究トライしているところです。
And then the next item, and this is relating to various shader processing, which is improved material qualities, of course, skin, metal, and fabric. It's interesting because in the 1.0 or like the old version of Final Fantasy XIV, there was a shader or like a process that was just applied to fabric so that
Jesse, you
it
want
would
to
look,
see something
the
terrifying?
textures would the texture quality would look
Not
like
like
fabric,
this.
but it was
What are you
too
about to show
heavy of
me?
a load on processing, so we had to remove it in the relaunch. But we're testing various ways to see if we can apply
I
something
hate that
like
shit.
that to make
Oh,
fabric
that
a
guy
bit more
definitely
smoother and
is
more
trying to sell you
fabric-like.
something you don't
And
need.
we're
That guy
still
sells
kind of
NFTs,
researching and
for sure.
trying out
That
various
dude.
methods.
そしてですね、キャラクターに対しての
Where is that
ライティングとシャドウの
Someone tweeted
強化というのもやっていきます。特にね、見栄えに直結しやすいこうセルフシャドウに関してはすごくずっと気になってたんで。
And then again, lighting and shadow, better lighting and shadow effects, especially for the player's shadows.
まあさっきもお話しましたけど、できるだけプレイヤーの皆さんの今のキャラクターに持ってるイメージっていうのが変わらないように、綺麗になったな俺のキャラって思ってもらえるようにしていきたいと思ってます。
Of course, again, our goal is to make it so that the overall appearance of player characters will be altered as little as possible. We want you guys to see the graphical updates and think, oh wow, my character's become pretty.
で注意点が2
I already
つあ
think my
っ
character's
て、
beautiful.
まず一つ装備品。
Yeah.
信じられない
What the fuck
数の
are you saying,
アセットがある
Yoshi P? Are we
ので、
about to
あれ
fight?
を 7.0 までに全部コンバートするのは不可能です。
So 2 points of caution. The
Where is
gear,
this-
we mentioned
where is
about
this damn
updating the
tweet?
material quality of gear,
I'll send it
but
to you. Hold on.
you know, there's an incredible, unbelievable amount of gear available for all of our player characters. And considering we'd have to convert them all, we will not be able to get through converting all of the gear
sent it to you on
by the
Twitter.
7.0 timing.
なので 7.0 で新しく実装されている装備っていうのは全て今回のグラフィックスアップデートを経た内容で作っていきます。なのでクオリティがより高いもので全部用意するつもりです。
So any gear that is implemented from 7.0 will have gone through the process of the updated graphics. So of course those will be of the higher
Wait,
quality.
so the first gear
た
you
だし、
get is going to
まあ
have
できる
like
限り
incredible
プレイヤーの皆さんがミラプリとかをしておしゃれによく使っているものに関してはちょっと優先的にできる限り対応をして、またパッチ 7.x シリーズで徐々にその古い装備っていうのも新しい仕様に少しずつこう対応していけるようにっていうふうに思ってますので、ちょっと数年がかりで全体が上がっていくことにはなるかと思いますが、よろしくお願いします。
But we understand that there are certain glamours that people use often, so we want to look at those and try to get those done.
So they're gonna get the sluttiest glamours
with a higher priority
HDified
We're gonna
in
look-
terms of like which
And
to
I'm
get
here
to.
for it.
2B's
And
ass is
throughout
gonna be
the
in full
7.x
4K.
series is when we will
All
address
day,
the rest
baby.
of the previous
Yeah.
equipment or gear. So I'm afraid it will take at least a few years to address all
Subligar.
of the different textures.
4K.
あと NPC です。今回ね
あー
プレイヤーのキャラクターみんなクオリティアップするじゃん。
Bikinis.
NPC
8K
全員も無理だと思っていて70までには。
The other thing are the NPCs. I know we talked about updating the player characters and the graphics on those, but I'm afraid we're not going to be able to address all of the NPCs by 7.0.
まあ申し訳ないんだが、クオリティの高
Tataru's
くな
gonna
った
just walk out and be
NPC と
like,
まだ
18K.
順番が回ってこない
What's up,
NPC っていうのが出てしまうと思うんですけど、それも許
You
し
can
て
see
いただ
my
けると助かり
pores,
ます
motherfuckers.
So I'm terribly sorry to say this, but you may start seeing NPCs that have gone through the graphical updates and those that have not gone through
That's gonna
the
look so
updates.
weird.
But please,
No,
your
I'm here for it.
understanding
Fuck
would
it, I'm
be
here for it. I love it.
appreciated.
これをね
Tataru
全部やれ
comes
っていうと
first.
いやもうじゃあグラフィックスアップデートやめましょう
なしにしましょう
無理です無理ですってなっちゃうんでちょっとちぐはぐっていうのが出ちゃうタイミングがあるとは思うんですけど
That'll
そ
look
れをやっ
real
ぱり
crazy.
承認していかないといつまで経ってもできないと思って
I wonder how it will be noticeable
ちょっと
far
許し
away
ていただ
though.
け
You
る
know
と
what I mean?
なんで
Yeah.
なので
Like how
ちょっとイル
much
ベルドはまだ後でいいかみたいな
running through town.
Menphilia's gonna look like fucking crown
And
drawing, and then
If I
you'll
were to
see
tell my
like
team that, okay, we need to do everything.
Alpha
Suddenly
nose
perverts on the
standing
internet
next to
are gonna
People
like
are
all
just
of a
gonna throw
sudden
in the
care about
towel
Menphilia.
and be like,
Yeah.
no, this is
Like,
impossible.
dude, she's drawn
So
so well.
I'm afraid there will
All
be
right.
times at which not all of the NPCs will have gone through their graphical updates, and it might look a little disoriented or disjointed. But if I don't allow for that to happen, we won't be able to get to it. So again, if you could forgive us for going through that, that would be appreciated. Like, Airbird might not get his graphical update as quickly as maybe like the Sultana, but
あ
okay.
のテレジアデレジはっていうお声が結構あるんですよただですね残念ななんとテレジアデレジってプレイヤーのなんだろうキャラメイクで作られてるんで僕らが手を下さずとも
They
あい
should
つ勝
just
手にクオリティ上がって
HDify
しまう
all
可
the
能性が高い
characters that die first. And
some
everyone will be like,
people
why
are
is this
asking,
person all
oh,
like
but what about
HD?
Telegy and
Oh.
Oh,
Adelegy?
no.
And I realize his
Or the inverse
expression
is gonna
is
happen.
part of the parts that you can select when you're creating your character. So because we're updating the player character facial parts, Telegy Adelegy is going to have his graphical updates already. So he may be an exception to those NPCs.
まあというわけでプレイヤーベースで組まれてるものはね必然的
なるほどね
にそうなるんですけどまあナナモさんとかはねやった方がいいかなとは思ってるんですけど、ちょっとまだ精査まではしきれてないのでちょっとそういう状態が出るとは思うんですけどよろしくお願いします。
So yeah, any characters that are built based on facial parts or body parts that are available for players to utilize will probably be updated simultaneously with like the player character graphics. But there are certain key NPCs that we're also looking at. Maybe the Sultana, but we have yet to sort of assess, and we will continue to sort of explore the options.
でまあちょっと今日お見せしたのは繰り返しになりますがテストをスタートしてまだ1ヶ月ちょっとのデータなので、さらなるですねクオリティの向上に向けて他の種族も含めてですねテストを続行していきます。いずれ装備とかもねこんな感じになるよというのもお見せできればと思ってます。
But yeah, again, what we showed you was only about a month or so of testing. So we're hoping to provide you with more updates as they come in. Perhaps the other races, perhaps we can provide you an update with gear, etc. in the not so far future.
でそうだなあとは結構コメントであったんですけど装備の干渉なんとかしてほしいってあれは正直どうにもならないです。物理エンジンを入れて、計算でかわすしかないんですけどそれをやるとやっぱ動かなくなっちゃうと思うので、あとやっぱり装備の干渉を許可してる僕が、もういいとこれは割り切ってくれって言ってるから今のペースでそのアセットギアが報酬が装備がリリースできてるっていうところもあるので努力はしますが根本的にオフラインのゲームのようにはならないので、そこはすいませんご了承ください。
And I'm also seeing comments about can you do something about like gear or equipment or like player characters like body parts interfering with the graphics of gear, equipped gear. And I'm afraid that is something that we cannot address fully. we would have to put in a physics engine in there, and that would cause for some of the characters to kind of not move properly anymore. And plus, I, as the director, have allowed for those imperfections to my team. I'm afraid we're just moving on with it, or else we won't be able to keep the pace in releasing these different gear and the different designs that is available. So I'm afraid we are unable to address it fully to match something that of a standalone game. Sorry.
さあでは次はですね、
I mean, that
ちょっ
makes
と
sense.
BG マップに関わるところのテスト1ヶ月ちょっとのサンプル持ってきました。
We're gonna get to see like in-game stuff.
We have more
Oh, wow.
samples though. This time it's
This is
for
actually
various
exciting.
backgrounds and like map elements.
まずこれは単純に、テクスチャーとかに何も手を入れずに配置できるライトの数を増やすっていうテストのサンプルです。
So this first image is a test of just simply the number of lights we can place in a certain scene without it touching any of the textures or surfaces.
配置ライト数をですね、複数増やすとこんな感じになります。
That
So
alone
we
with
just
just
added a
that
few
lighting
more
is
lights
insane.
in
lighting
a
looks
particular
great, yeah.
scene, and
Here, I'll move our camera
what
so you
you
can see
see
the
is
tree.
in the right side of the image.
ライトがですね遠くに左側ね1灯しか焚けないので、ちょっと見てほしいのは手前側にあるデスクに影がほぼ落ちてないのが、右側複数ライトによってちゃんと影が出るようになってるでしょ。
So if you look at the one on the left, we were only able to place one light source in the scene, but in the picture on the right, we were able to place multiple lights to give it a more realistic look. And
The
as you
desk
can see,
actually
the
looks so
desk
much better.
is now casting a shadow.
まあ当然分かりやすく上の方にライトさらに追加されてるので、まああそこまで作り込んでたのにライトが当たらないことによって全部黒で潰れちゃってたのが、まあしっかり見えてくるようになるので、これね多分プレイじっくり見てみないとというか受ける雰囲気が変わるので、これによって。
Cutscenes in like Final Fantasy
And of course,
X.
I think
When
one
the
of the key
background would move.
changes that you can see is because we were able to place a light directly on top. You're able to see some of the details that would have been kind of hidden behind a shadow. And so I think with allowing for more lights to be placed, it will kind of give you a better impression of some of the atmosphere in some of these locations.
でさらにですね、こちら今の現在の状態のティターニアですね。
This could look cool.
Next, you
all
see
ray tracing.
Titania in
Play the song,
their
cowards.
current state.
でこれはシャドウです。シャドウのテストをお見せしま
Apparently
す。
the chat is just typing such
This is
a
where we tested out
the chat
how
is typing
shadows appear.
such illumination.
まあ影に使ってるテクスチャーの
Oh
感
my
じの
God,
計算
that
を
looks
上げていくの
crazy
で
good.
これぐらいくっきり見えてい
Holy
くようになると思います。
So this is where we tested
looks so
the
good.
texture
Yeah.
as well
But that
as
looks
the
like to be
calculation formula
99%
behind
lighting.
how we're
Yeah.
Displaying the shadow
I
underneath
don't think there's much else
Titania.
different in that shot.
But look at the
And we believe
shadows
that we were
underneath
able
her.
to improve
And underneath
the
the
yeah,
tree.
no,
quality
it
and
actually has
resolution
detail.
up to
Although my
what you
shadows,
see on
when
the
I go
right
high
image.
detail shadows,
さ
they're
らにで
like
すねこれ複数ライトも置いてみてるので、
Yeah.
もう今の14だと左の環境
It's so
しか
funny.
作れないんですけど、複数ライトさらにカラー変えたりしていくことで
It's so funny to me because
か
a
なり
lot of
複雑な
players
ライテ
already
ィングの
kind
絵
of
作りっていうのがで
experienced
き
the
ているよう
game
になり
this
ます。
way through things like G-Shade.
And as you can see, we
Yeah.
have multiple lights again in this updated picture, and then plus we put some colored
Yeah, the back
lighting.
window also
So
looks crazy
the
right here.
background is exactly the same, and it was actually quite intricately
different
built.
levels
But
of lighting
by having
on
these different sort of lighting available
like
to
on the
shine on
body?
it, you can see
Like the
the
torso
complex
part.
details
Yeah,
that
yeah.
The
was
word
part of
torso
the
is what I
structure.
meant.
Right here.
On the torso,
ち
I
なみ
think
に
it's
これ
amazing. You can
左
see the
の
like
ティタニアのストーリー的には左の
lights from
雰囲
the
気が
different
いいなっていう
Her
コ
eyes
メント
look
があるんですけ
darker
ど、
too.
実は
Looks great.
この状態をさらにグレードアップさせたバージョンを BG チーム作ってきたんです、サンプルとして。ただ開発者目線で見ないと分かんないからライトの色を赤とかにして複数ライトが混ざってるっていう環境を作ってくれって言って僕がわざわざデザイナーがセンスよく統一してきたものをバラしたんで、デザイナーのセンスじゃないので これね、僕のプレ
It
ゼン
also
用だ
makes
と思ってください。
the
デザイナー
whites
の名誉のため
into
に言って
like
おきます。
模様ですね。
petal
Yeah.
bottom of the dress
One
actually
thing I do want to
look.
clarify because somebody
Yep. You can
pointed
see the
out
differences now. It's
they
great.
liked the look of the original Titania, where it has that sort of mood with all the muted colors. Yoshida I want to point out that this is the developers actually brought to me an example of what improved graphics would look like with that stayed within the color palette of the original picture, but that's very much in the developer's perspective, and I wouldn't be able to tell the difference of what has improved. That's why I had requested my designer to intentionally place red lights, something that's more obvious, just to show an example. So don't worry, this is not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to like destroy the atmosphere. The designer was very mindful about keeping the tone of the story, but I wanted a more like overt example. So just wanted to clarify that.
で、ここでちょっとね、特に注目してほしいのが、
It's not a bad point when you look at the picture on the
ス
left.
テンドグラス
The
の
like
あたりをちょっと見
musky.
ていただきたいんですけど、
No one's ever been in here, and
Yeah.
like the last.
And one part that I do
10
want
years
to
or
point
whatever.
out,
It's
if you
interesting.
look at the upper part of the image, where the stained glass is,
これ左と右、マップのポリゴンは何も変わらないんですね。テクスチャー解像度も変わってないです。
so just reiterating that we have not changed any of the polygons that are in the map layout. We did not improve any of the textures here.
なのでライトを変える、複数置けるようになるだけで、実は BG アーティストたちがこだわって作っていた箇所っていうのがより明確にちゃんと見えるようになるんですよ。左は全部影で潰
No,
れて
not
るんですけど、
anymore. There's only
も
one
ともとちゃん
sneeze
ともう
snag
一つ
for
ある
me.
ん
Thank you
です
very
よ。
much. Thank you very much.
And so this is what I'm trying to show with this image is that by being able to place multiple lights in a scene, we are able to showcase the details that our background artists have put into the structure. So above these stained glass, you might see these sort of like tiered sort of molding on top. And the picture on the left, it makes it unnoticeable because it's kind of drowned in the shadows. So by being able to place multiple lights, we're able to accentuate those details that our background team has put into the structure.
ちなみにバックグラウンドアーティストたちはライトの追加をやっていこうって言ったらめっちゃ喜んでました。
お
So when we were talking about adding multiple lights, the background team definitely had a very strong reaction to that.
よかった。
さあで次はですね、こちらは金属表現を、その質感を上げますというサンプルになります。
I bet the lighting on this
So
is going to
next
look
sample we
wild.
want to show you is how we depict like the texture of the metal.
こちらもですね、デザイナーの趣味というよりはですね、
It'll probably help a lot with
悪
the
趣味なぐらい
coins.
変えてくれって言ってる
That's
の
what I
で、
was just thinking. Those coins, they're going to
And
look a
of course,
lot
this
more
again
like
is supposed to
coins
be an
instead of
example,
flecks
and
of
so I asked my
gold.
designer to make it very gaudy at this point. So please understand, it is not necessarily the designer's choice.
まあもともとやりたかったけ
That
ど
looks
シ
a
ェーダ
little
ー
bit
がなく
like
てできなかったので、まあこれぐらいゴ
touched
ー
up
ルドを
though.
ちゃんとやっていきますよ。
What is the name of that? There's another game it looks
So
like,
up
and I can't remember the name of
until
it right
now,
now.
we didn't have the proper shaders to
But
apply,
the
but
metal
we would love to
on
improve
like
the
the
look
haunches
of
of the
metallic
elephant and
surfaces.
the
For
ears.
example, gold here.
す
Interesting.
ごい
コメ
ですよね
ン。トで吉田の家じゃんって書いてあるんだけど、
But
こんなんだったらもう仕
there
事
is
し
a
てないわ
downside. All of the color in the elephant
People are
is
saying,
faded.
"Oh, is this Yoshida's
Unless that's
house?"
on purpose.
I was
All the
like,
things
"No,
that
if
are
I
supposed
were
to be
that
red.
rich, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
working."
Oh,
Not
yeah.
こ
Up
れ怖い
here.
もんで、今まで我々は左を金だと信じ
You're
て
right.
まいりましたけど、
Down like this way and
なんか
up
も
in
う
the
ブラスに
ears.
しか見えないですよね。
It's
actually
Yeah,
muted.
actually, we trusted left side screen is gold up until now, but now it only see brass. なんか no more.
まあこういう形で金属の質感強化っていうのも
Well,
や
if
ってい
this
き
is
ます。
only
まあこれ
after
は
a
とてもわ
month
かりや
of
すい例
figuring
にな
this
る
out, I'm pretty satisfied.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
but
look at the
yeah, again, we're
arches in
trying
the
to
background.
make
Those
improvements
arches,
to the
the
material
like
quality,
metallic
so the look of
Yeah,
metallic
up here.
spackling. I don't know.
surfaces as well.
Yeah, it's
The
interesting.
detail is very good.
さらにですね、続いてはマップに使えるメモリっていうのも、
here's
上
straight
限
up,
を上げて
sand
あ
is
げよ
gonna
うと
look
思っているので、それによってですね、より多くのオブジェクトが配
What's
置
the
でき
name
る
of
よう
this
に
town?
なっ
I'm
ていきま
blanking.
す。
And next
this is
was
sad
to
narrative, but I
look
don't
at
remember the name of the
the
town.
memory
It's the
resources
town where you first
allocated
started. I
to
just
rendering a
forget the name.
particular area on a map. And I'm looking to
Yedley
raise
mod,
that sort
maybe?
of cap so
There
that
you
we can
go. Yeah,
place
that's what
more
it is.
objects
Chat's
in
saying that.
a particular field.
まあこれ左側が
Let's see
現
this
在
sand.
よくちょっとマトシャと出会ったりするところですけど、こんな感じになってます。これ現在ですね。
So the left side, you may remember your first encounter with Matsuya.
でそれがですね、今回
Old
このぐらいまではいけるだろ
Oh
うと。
yeah, that looks sick.
And
It
with
has been
testing,
adjusted, though, a little
we
bit,
are
clearly.
seeing that we
Yeah.
can possibly place more objects like these.
左と比べて
I
で
mean,
すね、やっ
that
ぱまず
that
注
looks
目
like
点
a
としては
town
その
that's like
1枚のループで作られてたその階段状になっている部分っていうのが
representative of the
それ
story
ぞれ
of
素
that
材違い
town
を
is
しか
what
も
I'm
こう
trying to
組み合
say.
わせで
Yeah, yeah, no,
ずらし
agreed.
て配置したりすることによってこう使い込まれた感とかより出せていけるこのあたりはね実はすごく大きいと思います。
And so in the left, you may notice that it's just a repeat layered on, like a repeat layered on top of each other. But in the updated graphics, you can see that we are able to place objects not exactly like on top of each other, but like you can shift it by a little bit. It'll allow for a more realistic depiction of the area has been in use. So this is actually quite, it helps with like the immersion.
であとはその床ですね実は、床の上にもう一枚テクスチャーを重ねてブレンドさせることでですね床のこうひび割れだったり、細かい今だとねメモリがないので巨大な床を一枚貼ってどうにかってところなんですけどそこを
Even the
さらにこう
buildings are clear.
上げていけるようになる。
Like right here.
And then the
I
floor
think.
or the
Well,
ground,
no, maybe that's just the
It looks the
same.
with the
exact same
graphical
to
update
me.
would be able
Except there's
to
one light in the background
add
shining
another
on
layer on top
Yeah.
to give it more texture and kind of blend it in. So like cracks in the ground.
The background, everything.
Previously, we wouldn't have
past
enough
the foreground
memory,
looks the
so
same to me,
we
at
would
least.
just have to paste one giant floor and deal with it. But with the graphical updates, I think we'll be able to improve on the texture quality as well.
そしてですね続いてからちょっと BG でお知らせする
So
最後になるん
7.0 is
ですが
going to look really good then. If it's all new.
Next is, I believe, the last set of
They're gonna
samples that
unroll it
I've
through
seen
all
for
of
the background elements.
6.1 and beyond.
こ
They're
ち
just
ら
gonna
で
keep
す
adding
我
to
々
it?
開発チーム最大の敵自動草って呼んでる
I
や
don't
つ
know. Let's see how grass looks.
So this is one of our pet peeves, arch nemesis. I
I'm
should say
wondering
these are
about
like
this on
these
Twitch. If it-
automatically generated
If it looks
grass.
too
これがですねカットシーンの
Grassy,
チェックをやってるとです
it's gonna
ね
look like shit on Twitch.
割り込んでくるんですよ自動で生やされるんで多分
All
カ
they
ッ
need
ト
to
シーン
do
作っ
is
た
keep
スタッ
this
フの
the
時に
same
生え
and
てな
then
かったんでし
just
ょうけ
up
ど
the pixel.
僕
You
が
know
チ
what
ェ
I
ック
mean?
する時は生えててですねこのジャギジャギが
Like
すごい
just
入ってく
instead
るん
of
です
it
よ
being
カメラ
like
に
when you get close to it, it's
And
still
this
just a
is
line of
this is
grass.
so it takes away from cutscenes when it barges in. I'm sure when the cutscene
True.
team is creating the composition, they don't see the grass because this is just automatically generated after the fact. But sometimes it's like so close up and it's so pixelated, and that pixelation is it bothered me very much.
今回もね実はちょっと裏話ですけど、
はい、
まあエルピスでヘルメスにね、メーティオンにせがまれてエルピスの花をこう見せるシーン、夜空でねあるじゃない。でヘルメスがこう仮面を外す、あそこがですね何度チェックしてても自動草が入ってくるんですよ。で頭にきたんでもう BG 班に頼んでこの辺も草生えさせない設定にしてくれ。
I think it's Elpis.
なるほど。除草剤
No, this is in.
There's no bubble in the background though. If that's
The
what you're about
one
to say.
behind the scenes.
No. This is.
Comment I wanted to make.
What is
when I
that
was,
zone that's in?
looking at the cutscene in Elpis. Sorry, spoilers, but
It is Elpis.
Hermes when he's talking to Meteon
no-
about, I want to show you the flowers
different than this.
in
This is
Elpis, and
Elpis?
he removes his mask.
Okay.
The grass automatically generates, and it gets in the way. So I got so mad. I told the background team, like, can you make it so that you don't have grass being generated in this part of the ground?
でそれがですね、今まだテスト中ですがこんな感じになります。
Okay. That looks
But
remarkably
that
better.
will be updated, hopefully. Again, we're still testing, but
Damn.
this is a sample image of what it could look like.
That's gonna
で
look
まあ
like
種
shit
類
on
もね
Twitch,
複
but
数
yeah,
持てるようになるので、
very good in
こ
game.
れね草原から上は何も手入れてないんですよ。向こうに見える木とか全く今のままなんですけど、まあこんなに
That's
変わ
exactly
る
what
ん
they
ですよ
should have done. It's so simple.
So, and plus, we are able to generate a variation of different grass or plants. And so, while we
I think
haven't
the reason why
added
grass
or
looks so shit
modified
on
anything in the
PC
background,
when you're like
the trees
broadcasting is 'cause,
and
I
the
mean, look at
field
it
in the
already.
background
Well, it's
have
just a bit rate
not
thing. Yeah.
been modified.
Yeah, I mean, like,
the
even the
look of
bits-
it is
At least the other,
different
the new
because of
one, it
how
like
we
is
can
beefy. You know?
process these automated grass.
これはですね自動草そのものを入れ替えるので、申請から行月まで全ての
なるほど。
マップ
The
で
issue, though,
自動で生えてる草が綺麗になります。
If that grass doesn't move at
And
all,
for this update,
or
we
doesn't
will be
have a,
replacing the
physics
system
to
that
it,
generates
it's gonna look
these
real weird.
grass or plant life. And so this should be applied throughout all of the areas from A Realm Reborn
such
throughout
vegetation.
Endwalker.
It's in the main chat.
さあではバックグラウンド実はねまだあるんですけど、ちょっとどんな表現バックグラウンドを上げていくかというのをお知
I
ら
don't
せ
think
して
they're
い
gonna
き
make
ます
grass physics.
We've done
It's
various
just-
other
it's gonna
testings
look
in
weird
terms
if
of
it's
background
super
elements, but
HDified and it
allow me
doesn't
to
have
summarize again.
まず
Like
先ほど、サンプルでも見てい
anything
ただ
else
きま
to
した
it.
ライ
Right,
ト
right
配
now,
置の追
looking
加
like shit,
質感
you
落とす
expect
表
it
現
to
ね雰囲気を
respond
強化というのが
shittily.
これによって
That's what I'm getting at.
行われます
So if it responds with nothing and
So
looks
again,
very good, it's
we
gonna be kind
are
of
going
weird.
to be doing additional
I've been let
lighting
down by
points,
games
so
before.
improved
I'm
visual
not,
quality, depth,
I'm not.
and immersion.
It wouldn't mess with me that
そ
much.
してですね影の高解像度化影のテクスチャーを高解像度にすることでですね
That's
ちら
all
つか
very
なく
good
なったりですね
stuff. I'm
影
very
が
much
よりメリ
into
ハリが
this.
効くようになります
And then higher resolution shadows. And so we'd be improving the texture of the shadow and how it's depicted so that it will allow for like flickering, decreased flickering.
ちょっと嘆きの海
I just
の
got an email that said your order
思
will
い
be
出していただ
shipped
きたいんですけど
soon.
あそこ実は
Today,
雰囲気を宇
in
宙
the
空間
next
にするために
hours. Come
ライ
on,
ト
what are
の
you
距離
doing,
をすごい
Best
遠
Buy?
く
You
して
dummies.
全体の暗さをこう締めるようなことをやってるんですけど
10 PM
結果そうすると影がものすごく長く表示されるんだけど、テクスチャー解像度が低いがゆえにすごいじらついたりボケたりする箇所が結構多いんですよ。ただ雰囲気を優先したんで我慢してたんですけどそういうところもですねより綺麗にちらつかずに影が出てくるようになると思います。
So if you would recall Mare Lamentorium and how we were trying to depict or
Yeah,
make
what
it
is the
seem
moon
like you're
gonna look like?
in outer space and make sure that the lighting had been placed in a very distant location so that we emphasize that sort of darkness that surrounds you. Because of that, whenever you're on the moon, your shadow gets to be very long, but because the shadow textures were not optimal, you would see frequent areas that would cause the shadows to flicker or it could get blurry. So
Yeah.
with the graphical
Yep,
update, we're
that's my
hoping
problem.
to improve so that those shadows
It's all
would come
good.
out a lot crisper.
This all sounds great.
そして質感表現の向上です。これもシェーダーでですね。
Jesse,
金属
here's
とか
some,
布とか
some live
まあそれ
footage
以外のちょっとシェーダーも今検討してま
of
す。
7.0.
And then, of course, improve textures, which includes metals, fabrics, and we're also trying to consider what other elements can we improve.
Rothgar have never looked
そ
better.
して最後に
Yeah,
加え
the
た
Rothgar
自動
getting a
配置
crazy
植物の強
update.
化高解像度にしたりですね
Yeah, they've never looked
あと
better.
It's in the
植生を
jungle.
種類を増やしたりしていきます
Lastly, more and better auto-generated greenery, which is increased resolution, variety, and etc.
で画面全体にフィルター効果として非常に重要なアンビエントオクルージョンっていう機能だったり、フォグ、いわゆる霧をこう重ねるみたいな、それをフォグって呼ぶんですけど、これらに関しては今テストをしてるんですけど、まだちょっとサンプルをお見せできない状態です。
I'm just hearing all this music again.
And we're also considering other effects or filters that would apply to the overall
EX of this so many
screen,
times it's like permanently in
including
my brain.
ambient occlusion and fog effects. Now, those are still being tested, but we couldn't produce results that we can present at this time.
めちゃくちゃ雰囲気出るし、めちゃくちゃクオリティ上がるんですけど、やっぱ画面全体にパフォーマンスの影響を与えるものなので、慎重にテストをしてしっかりこれだったら大丈夫だろう、その皆さんが極端に PC を買い替えたりとかしなくても、あとオプションでねちょっと切ることで軽くできるとかっていうのをちゃんと用意した上で、ここまでやれますよっていうのをちゃんとお見せできる。まだちょっと1ヶ月じゃそこまではいけないので、ただこれらも強化はしていきますので、また続報をねお待ちいただければと思います。
And we totally understand that it will give it a different sense of atmosphere, or it would really improve the mood if we had those kinds of textures applied or those filters applied. But it does affect the overall performance of the game. So we will need to test it very carefully for sure. So we want to explore our options, but we also want to make sure that we are at a state where we're comfortable and not requiring for so much resources that players would have to like update their PC to an extreme, or be able to provide an option to shut it off if you want to optimize your performance. So I'm afraid we're not able to show you anything as of like a month or so of testing, but we're hoping to bring you updates further down the line. So yeah, if you could please stay tuned for that.
さてでは、
That'll be exciting to see
第
in
一次グラフィ
future
ックスアップデートの、
live
今日お
letters.
伝えできる範囲としては、ここ
Yeah,
までと
yeah. I
させ
mean,
て
the
いただ
more
き
info
ま
we
す
can get, the better. It's hype
Okay,
though.
so in
I
terms
think
of
that's
the
really neat.
graphical updates and the preparations that we're making for it, I think is all that I have for today's presentation.
さあでは続いて、3つ目なんですが、引き続き多くのアップデートこれまでと変わらずですね、
We have one
適切な
last
スケジュールでお
image,
届け
Jesse,
して
that
い
they
きます
tweeted
よ
out.
というお話です
It's incredible. I can't believe they figured
So
out
yeah,
this,
we
this
will continue
update.
to provide regular
it
updates on an appropriate
just
schedule.
looks phenomenal.
せっかくの機
Absolutely
会ということでですね、
はい
ちょっと 6.1 から 6.5 まで現状決まっているものでお知らせできそうなものをお知らせしておこうと思います
So I would like to share information that we know that
Got 'em.
we're going to have
How dare
from 6.1 through 6.5.
When the Lalas rise
ま
up,
ずパッチ
you will not be
6.1 なん
spared.
ですけど、こちらねリリー
Oh,
スタイ
further
ミングが読み
Hildebrand.
切れないと思うんですけど、皆さん4月に出
Tataru's
します、
Grand
はい
Endeavor side quest series? Question mark?
So 6.1
What does that mean?
series. I understand that it's
That
still
girl's
kind
getting
of hard
a
to see
chocobo!
when it's coming, but we are looking at April
Oh
at
my
this time.
god.
April. That's a great
当然
time.
ですがメインクエストのアップデートっていうのは 6.1 から 6.5 まで新しい冒険をお届けしていこうと思ってます、
Of course, part of those updates will include the updates to the main scenario. We will have a new story with each patch installment.
What is that
そ
story
して
going
で
to
すね、全
be?
世界から帰ってこいと言われていた、事件や紳士ね、
Tataru's final
ついに
boss will be
帰還
the
でございます。
Carbo.
ヒ
You
ル
don't
ディ
get
ブラン
what's
ド
about
の
to
行
happen.
月編が、始まり
If
ます
they can somehow put Tataru
Of course,
plus
we've heard many people ask for him
Alpha
to come back.
in one
This
storyline,
gentleman extraordinaire, Mr. Hildebrand, will be making his return.
新しいサブクエストシリーズとしてですね
Every patch he's gonna be there?
タタルの大繁盛商店というのが、連続として始まります
And then, of course,
Do we know what the
a new
24
series of
man?
side quests named Tataru's Grand Endeavor.
ちなみに
Oh,
ヒル
maybe
ディ
that's
ブランドが
the
最後に
island
目
quest,
撃されたのは
Tataru's
パッチ
Grand Endeavor.
5.3で実装された
Maybe.
漆黒決戦ノルブラントでエリデ
24
ィブスによって召喚された中に
いましたね。
確率でたまに出てくるんでね、あいつ
The
ID の中に、
12
あそこですね、最後に目撃されてるのは、
Right.
I believe the last last time Hildebrand was seen was in patch 5.3, the Hero's Gauntlet. And this is a random occurrence, so you may or may not have seen him. But when you are doing your Warrior of Light battle, he is one of the people that is summoned.
さあどんな冒険とかね珍道中になるのかぜひ楽しみにお待ちください。
But yeah, we hope you enjoy whatever odd adventures that he gets into.
まあどんどんいきます。パッチ 6.1 まだまだあってですね、アライアンスレイドミソロジー・オブ・エオルゼア12支にまつわる物語ですねスタートします。
Dragon Songs Reprise.
Continuing with patch 6.1 updates, we will have our Alliance Raid, Myths of the Realm, Part 1
Dang, that's a
implemented.
big
This is going
fucking
to delve into or touch upon the mythos of the 12 gods.
そして新 PVP のクリスタルコンフリクトというのが、スタートして蛮族クエストアルカソーダラ続編があって、ゼツは本当お待たせしました、レイド大好き勢、本当お待たせしたんですが最新ゼツリリースします。
Most likely.
And so next is a new PvP, the Crystalline Conflict. We will have a new Beast Tribe quest, or like a new tribal quest, Arkasodara tribe quest in their dailies, and then a new ultimate content.
It's hard to say.
Thank you so much for your patience. Our new ultimate duty will be implemented as of 6.1.
ゲームはねアルテマになりますがもうバランスチェックも終わっていて結構むずいですよ。
And of course, we will finally be reopening the Unreal battles. Ultima's Bane will be what's coming for the next battle. We are currently testing this out, but it's quite challenging.
アルテマウェポンってもともと結構初期に時間のない中で作られていて、IL が結構みんな上がってるんで、いろいろギミック無視できたりとか、被弾してもそんなになんですけどレベル90でバランス取り直してきっちりアイテムレベル確定させたらねやっぱ面白いしやりごたえあるなこれって感じでした。
Of course, when we first designed the Ultima weapon fight, it was done in a rush, and then by now I think people have raised their item level, so even if you take damage it's not as bad. But with the Unreal battles we have adjusted the boss fight so that it matches that of a level 90 player, so
cool.
And we've kind of finalized the item level, so testing it out, I enjoyed it. It was a very interesting battle and it's very challenging for sure.
でも今ちょっとコメントであったんだけど、蛮族クエストっていう蛮族って呼び方やめたいなってコメントがあって、確かにそうだね、ちょっと考え直そう。メモっといてもらっていいかしら。はい表現変えていきましょう。
There was a comment about the Beast Tribe quest, and it seems to not be very favorable to call it that. I know we're trying to shift it to say tribe quests, or like we're just calling it by the tribal name in the English, but we are going to try to figure out a better way to phrase it.
そして絶なんですけど
They're tired of calling it Beast Tribe? Is that what I'm getting?
I don't know. I can't tell if that is because of like real world pressures, and if so, I'm trying to figure out exactly what.
And
or if it's because
backtrack a little bit
the Beast
to
Tribes are now our
ultimate
allies,
duty,
call
the
them
new
beasts
ultimate duty,
seems
and we're balancing right now and making adjustments, but it's
they're like our friends.
Difficult.
And
so if you're up for a challenge, that's fantastic. But yeah, it's going to take some. It's going to again be challenging.
絶は 6.11 かな。
Oh, I'm sorry. Ultimate would be not 6.1 but 6.11, so it's probably not at the same time as the major patch.
Okay. So I have a week to log in, level my crafters, get everything situated, and then make a fuck ton of money once again.
We are hoping that players would enjoy the main scenario first, and then 6.1 is also when we open up the Ishgard housing. So I'm sure people will want to sign up for like housing plots. So
I'll have my 100
we're
million
going
gil by
to
then, and we'll be good to go.
wait 2 weeks after the launch of the major patch, and then release the ultimate duty.
まだまだあってですね、6.1、さっきお伝えしたメインクエスト ID のフェイス対応 2.0 半やって、それ以外の ID のちょっとグラフィックスの調整とかいろいろやってます。
So continuing on with the 6.1 series updates, so the main quest, the trust system for A Realm Reborn patch 2.0 main scenario.
There's no new armor for 6.1. There's crafting armor.
そして新しいリワードシステムとしてですね、キャラクターカードっていうののシステム実装がドーンと始まります。
There's not a new dungeon in 6.1?
And then a new calling card style UI. So this is going to be a new system that we plan to start implementing.
Plus the 12.
Well, the crafting armor will be 6.1, I think.
特集パート1、パート2の方でお伝えしていきます。そしてお待たせしたロスガルの新髪型対応がスタートとなります。
So for this calling card style UI, this is something that we'll cover in our next two live letters. There's one definitely planned on March the 4th, and we'll do like a 6.1 feature, part 1 and part 2. So we'll delve into details at that time. So next item would be new hairstyles for Hrothgar. Thank you so much for your patience on this.
そしてハウジング
JP, you have footage of that, I think.
お得意さんの取引は
I did, yeah.
you did have footage of it.
I did have footage earlier. You'll have to rewind the VOD to go check that out.
And next two items
we had footage of
is
that,
the
though. That was
opening
pretty
of
cool.
Imperium or Ishgard housing, and then custom deliveries. You get to meet with Alphino and Alizé's mom, Amelians.
That Ishgard housing is gonna be a nightmare, you guys.
PVP はいつですか？またちょっと PLL で詳しく言いますけど、6.15 を予定してます。はい。
We had a question about when is the new PvP going to go live. Again, we'll cover this in the upcoming other PLLs, but we are looking at 6.15
So that means there's probably a
timing for that.
PLL
それ以外にも
in
ですね、透滅戦など多数のものが、
sometime, I
透
would
滅戦
think.
名前言えないですけど、
Late March,
ありますんで、ぜひご期待ください。ここまでが6.1 のざっくり概要です。はい。
And of course, new trials, we can't say what, but other assorted updates are planned for the 6.1 series.
Oh,
そ
March
して続い
4th?
て
Oh,
6.2 です
okay.
が、こんな感じになってて、
I didn't know that was
一番
announced.
の注目はやっぱりお知らせしていた、無人島開拓が 6.2 からスタートになります。
Criterion
So next
Dungeon?
up is
What
the
the fuck?
6.2 series. This is one of the large, like the anticipated content, I believe, is the Island Sanctuary. That's when we're going to start opening this up.
昨日全体を一通りチェ
Oh,
ッ
that's
ク
the
し
new
ましたけ
deep
ど、
dungeon?
めちゃくちゃでかいんで規模。だいぶね組み上がってる
Oh,
ん
it's
で
the
もう
deep dungeon. Yes, yes.
I had the opportunity to check the overall sort of content yesterday, and it's quite large scale, but I think it's coming along nicely.
またちょっと今日は時間がないのであれですけど、詳しく説明する機会は取ろうと思いますが、基本的には外の世界と全く異なるそこだけで完結できる遊びになってますし、ゆっくり本当にゆるくやれるので楽しみに待っていただける
What
と嬉
does
しいです。
new weapon enhancement mean?
I'm afraid we don't
Probably
have the time to
relic
cover
stuff,
it
right?
today,
It's the
but
start of the
we
relic?
will
Get a
take
relic
the time
area?
I don't know.
at another opportunity so that we can explain the details of this. But it is going to be a different sort of area that you can enjoy, and it's a very self-contained sort of content that you can enjoy.
で2.x 残り新生オルゼアの 2.x シリーズのメインクエスト ID を全部対応し、想定編にも突入します。あとは武器強化コンテンツの新しいシリーズをスタートしますとかですね。
So going back to the earlier bullet points, we will be applying the trust system for the 2.x main scenario dungeons, maybe partially into Heavensward. It says here
ああそうだもうね多すぎて入れてないんですけどミラプリの拡張もね 6.1 から第1弾始ま
Yeah,
る
I
んで
was wondering if we would
言っ
get
ときます
any inkling of what the story's going
Oh,
to
we
be
also want to
too.
mention
But nothing.
we will be expanding on glamours.
Oh!
Glamour ミラプリのごめんなさいミラプリはグラマープリズムの方でしょ
あー
うか。
っとね、
No more
言えない
glamour
感じ
prism?
第1弾はプレート増やすをやっていくまず第1弾
So glamour related updates. I'm sorry, I wasn't sure how to phrase it, so I squeezed it out of Yoshida-san. We will be addressing and expanding upon glamour plates as part of the first
Oh.
glamour related updates in
More
6.1
plates.
series.
まあちょっと全部書ききれないけどいつもの討
That's
伐
useful.
消滅戦のノーマルと極があるとかいうのはまあいつも
I've been
通り
asking
やって
for
く
that
の
for a
でまあその辺は
I thought we were gonna get rid of
書かれてなくても
glamour
You've been
prism.
playing 6 months.
And they're
Of
all
course,
full.
we will
They're-
have
it
whatever
is-
content
JP,
that,
some of us have
you
been
can
around for a
expect
little
in
bit.
the patch updates, so like new trials,
JP, I know time.
etc.
It's been a year
It's
and a
not
half
written here
already.
because we couldn't fit it
6
all in
months?
the slides, but
I'm almost at 2 years.
Yes.
This is
週
a
間数
problem.
増やすトライにしてる
I
か
don't
ら
know what happened.
You've been
We
playing
had a whole
30
pandemic.
タイ
days,
ミングで
boy.
増やします
You're on a free trial. What do you
and we're
know?
also
Yeah,
looking
goddamn
at
free trial. I did
like
pay
how they
your
stand
sub.
upon like the number of sets stored. So we're hoping to find an opportunity to do that update, like not an overhaul, but like an update on that as well.
そしてですねさりげなく書かれてる新しいこの 6.2 から新しいバトルコンテンツタイプが全くこれまで
Yeah, I
と
was
違う
hoping they were getting rid of
コンテンツを今
actual
開発
prisms
中です
altogether. I was
That's
like,
what, yeah, I thought
And then
that's
the
what she
fourth
was trying
bullet
to say.
point, it's just kind of snuck in there as part of like the updates, but it's a new thing that we're trying to do. It's a dungeon with variable difficulty.
これ難易度可変ダンジョンって
It
今
shouldn't be
開
that
発コー
hard.
ド
It's
ネー
just
ムなんですけど
numbers.
1人から
Right?
4人
Like-
でチャレンジできて1人で行く2人で行く
Just
3
math.
人で行く4人で行くっていうので自動的にそれに合わせて難易度がコントロールされるっていうチャレンジ型のコンテンツになります
And so the code name that we're using here is like Criterion Dungeons, but so you can attempt this with 1 to 4 people. And what makes it variable is that if you go in, depending on the number of people you go in with, so 1 person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, the difficulty sort of varies. It will automatically scale. So it's like a content where players can sort of challenge themselves.
まあこちらも組み上がってはきてるんですけどまだ調整いろいろチェックやってたりするんで、まあ 6.2 に近づいてきたらしっかり
The
特集していき
music
たい
is
と思い
so
ます。
It is coming along nicely, but
Foreboding.
and we're still performing checks on the content.
Is
So
that,
we
like
stay
as you
tuned
said that
for
the
new
weird like
information
that
as
sound
we,
effects happen in the song?
as they become
Yeah.
available when we can talk about 6.2.
そして 6.3 になるとですね、メインクエストの ID フェイス対応が争点編をここで完了させる予定です。
And then moving into 6.3, so we continued to add more trust NPCs. We should be able to address the remaining main scenario instanced dungeons in Heavensward.
でかいのはですね世界中からですねディープダンジョンシリーズの新しいのがやりたいという、お声をたくさん頂戴していたの
So they're
で、
gonna do a second
今
ultimate?
企画をやっている最中です、6.3 で、ディープダンジョンシリーズの第3弾実装予定です
And then players from around the world had asked about when do we get a new deep dungeon?
Oh, so that's the
and
deep
so we
dungeon. So the
are
criteria
in the
stuff
planning
is
phases
different.
at this time. We're hoping to launch the 3rd in the series of deep dungeons at 6.3 series timing.
そしてですねすでに、開発スタートして進んでるんですが Z シリーズの第5弾を、6.3
If the other thing is 1 to 4,
And then
Maybe
we are
it's a
already
testing
starting to make
ground?
plans for this, but we do intend on
The 7.0
adding one more
stuff?
ultimate duty. So this will be the 5th
Maybe.
one in the series.
そしてですね 6.2 でリリースされた、
That's pretty
無人
fast
島
for
開拓
two
のアップデー
ultimates.
トももちろん行っていきます
And then, of course, because we will be opening up the Island Sanctuary as of 6.2, at 6.3 series timing, we will continue to update it.
でまあ4と5はちょっとパッチ 6.4 と5はまとめてのご紹介になっちゃいますが、この4と5でグレン編のメインクエスト ID のフェイス対応を全部終わらせて、まあ、これで、ストーリー上に登場する ID は、全部対応が終わる予定です。
Yeah, 6.1 has been developed for a
next
very long
page
time.
covers both 6.4
right.
and 6.5 series. But by this time, we aim to complete
starting to
the
think the
trust system
Criterion dungeon
implementation
is where you
into
get
all of the
your
Stormblood
relic
main
weapons.
series scenario dungeon, main scenario dungeon series, and so that should get through all of Stormblood.
で難易度可変ダンジョンと呼んでる新しいバトルコンテンツシリーズの第2弾とか第3弾も入れていきますし、無人島開拓の開拓エリアを追加したりっていう予定ももう当然ね我々長期計画で進んでるので予定されてます。
And then, of course, our Criterion dungeons will see an update. We should have numbers 2 and 3 implemented. And then for Island Sanctuary, at this time, we want to expand upon the area. So we'll have an additional area.
でですね、例えば青魔同士のレベルキャップをどのタイミングにする、解放をどのタイミングにするのとか、そういう状況を見ながら調整しているものに関してはどうしてもまだ言えないので、それらもちゃんとどっかのタイミングでやっていきますんで、またそれぞれですね、パッチのこう特集をお待ちいただければありがたいなと。やらないとかいうわけじゃないんで、ここに書かれてないものはね、まだ詰め切れてないものはちょっと言えないのでさすがに、まあこの辺りはもう全部確定しているのでお知らせしております。
I'm sure some of you might be wondering about, okay, when is the next time the Blue Mage is going to have their level cap increased? And some of these items we need to monitor the situation. And so I'm afraid we aren't able to determine exactly when this is going to happen.
Never
but we
have
do
I thought
intend
about that.
on doing it. We
Only
will share more information when we are going to do like a patch specific like updates live stream. Please note that even if it's not written in the document, it doesn't mean that we're not going to do it. So yeah, there might be information that we're still in the planning phases and we weren't able to solidify at this time. So we will continue to look at the various existing content and provide updates when we can.
まあなんかパッチ情報を出すとみんな細かいところあれはどうこれはどうってやっぱなっちゃうね。まあ皆さんが思ってることは基本的にやっていくんで大丈夫ですよ。
I see that people in the comments are talking about various granular areas of patch updates. And I think it's safe to say that things that we know people are expecting in a regular update will more than likely be included. So I want to make sure that
so is that him saying
don't be worried.
Nothing about relic weapons?
まあアルカソーダラの次のはどうなるの、種族ってどうなるのとかもう全部決まってます。ちゃんとマイパッチやっていくので、まああれかなこれかなって思いながら待っていただけると嬉しいです。
And the tribal quest beyond Arkasodara is I'm sure a mystery, but we have a plan. We do have like which group to focus in on, and we do want to have content available per each of the patch. So it'd be great if you could wait or not wait, but like speculate, kind of imagine which tribe will we be focusing in on.
あとゴールドソーサーも予定してるんですけど、4になるか5になるかまだ決まってないんでちょっと待ってください。
And we do intend on making Gold Saucer updates, but we still haven't determined if it's going to be 6.4 or 6.5. So that's why we're not mentioning it at this time.
さあというわけでまあ変わらずですね、モリモリでやっていきますよというお知らせでした。
But yeah, just wanted to go through all of these roadmaps just so that we know that we plan to continue providing very hefty updates.
ただですね、一個皆さんにこれを踏まえてですね、ちょっとお知らせをさせてください。
But with that being said, allow me to make one announcement.
メジャーパッチのサイクルについてです。
And this is regarding the major patch cycle.
これまでですね、申請スタートからですね、ずっとできるだけこの 3.5 ヶ月に1メジャーパッチ配信っていうのを、目標に掲げてやってきました。
So of course, since the relaunch as A Realm Reborn, we've tried to keep this pace of one major patch update per every 3.5 months.
でこれをですね、本当申し訳ないんですが、2週間プラスしてですね、4ヶ月にさせてください。
All right, it's not that big of a difference.
I'm terribly sorry to ask you of this, but we need to extend it by 2 weeks, and so we want to change it so that it's one major patch every 4 months.
Yoshi P, let it go.
でこの2週間って何かっていうとですね、我々開発内では実装期間っていうのと調整期間っていうのが大きく2つあるんですけど、この実装期間にプラスあと1週間、それから調整期間にプラスあと1週間の時間をいただいて、マイメジャーパッチを 3.5 ヶ月でなんとかやってきたのをちょっと4ヶ月、プラス2週させていただけると助かります。
Not that big a deal.
So of course we have periods of our development cycle where it's development and then implementation, and various adjustments, fine tuning that we do. So those 2 weeks that we ask of you for your patience is 1 week for additional implementation, and then 1 week additional for fine tuning. So that makes it that 3.5 months now turns into 4 months.
でですね、夏季休暇期間とか、我々やっぱりサマーバケーションスタッフに渡したりですね、年末年始やっぱり家族とねゆっくり過ごしてほしいっていうのがあるので、夏季休暇期間とか年末年始の場合には、これにプラス1週間ねさせていただくことがあるかなと思います。
Oh no, that's happening to me as well, LSA.
And in addition to that,
anytime there's music playing in the background, it's
breaks,
crazy nostalgia.
Like summer vacation or summer holidays, New Year's holidays. I'm sure people have family that they would visit over the holidays, and so for those holiday seasons, we might see an additional like 1 week's not delay, but like 1 week's time added as well.
やっぱりここまでその前半の10年間っていうところでもお伝えしましたけど、相当みんなの開発チーム運営チームのモチベーションというところに頼ってやってきたところがあるなと思っていて、それは僕自身の稼働の高さも含めてなんですけど、休みたいというよりはやっぱり適切にみんな健康で健やかに開発に取り組むことでよりクオリティも上がっていくだろう。でも事実足りてない無理をしてきたっていうところもあるので、ちょっとそれが理由になってます。
As I explained in the first half, when we were looking back at our first 10 years, we really depended on the motivation of each of the developers that are on the team, and me included. I was moving around and very hands-on with my team, but looking at our schedule and how we work, I do want my team to be healthy and be able to sort of
I guess that
maintain
would mean
a
7.0
good level of quality
February
because they are
2024-ish.
taking the necessary breaks.
That would also mean they get it in right before.
To be honest, there were areas where we
Q3
might not have performed as
financials,
well
so
as
it
we
would probably
should
work
have,
out.
because some of us may have been pushing too hard. So that's the reasoning behind why we want additional time.
で非常にね皆さん優しいコメントいただけてるんで、とても嬉しい。特にスタッフの健康とかね気遣っていただけてるんでとても嬉しいんですけど、これまで 2.0 からねなんとか 3.5 ヶ月でこうやってきたその実装10何週調整何週みたいなのでやってきたんですけど、ちょっとね比較を持ってきました。
They started doing trailers around 6.4, I think.
And thank you so much for the kind comments.
Which would be
regarding
summer
our
2023.
Staff and, making sure that you're showing your concern to our staff members. It really warms my heart, and I'll make sure to relay that.
Those are the US
considering
one is at least
what we've been
Vegas,
doing in terms of providing an update every 3.5 months since 2.0, and with a schedule of
shouldn't
like
meet Yoshi P.
so
I
and
will
such
be
and
too
such
much of an
weeks for
embarrassment.
implementation and
Like,
whatnot.
let me tell
we
you
put together this
about
comparison chart for you to take a
Just have
look.
a giant
まあ
margarita
これまで、
walking around with a
企
gallon
画
margarita
開発
or a yard. That's what it is there.
デ
I
バ
have
調
some
整
opinions
デバッグっていうのを、
Medphilia
まあ、3.5 ヶ月でやってきてたんですけど
Oh
The-
Of course,
what?
our
What is this?
development largely is broken down to planning, development,
Oh, they're just
adjustments, and
showing how
debug.
much stuff
And
they do.
this is some of the numbers that we've pulled up.
まあパッチ
Oh,
3.3 の
there's to
時が
say it's
左
harder
の
to do now.
列
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
5.3 の時が
We
右の列
understand.
です
We get it.
Yeah.
So the column of the left is
I like how they
patch
changed the
3.3
color
series
to be like
timing, and then the column on
a
the
little
right
darker.
is patch 5.3
The
series.
6.3 one should just be
Yeah.
all red.
Like
Like
there was
blood
some
red.
thought,
極
there
端に
was
言ったわ
some
けじゃないん
thought
ですけ
to
ど、
the
やっぱ
color
ジョブ
grading
数
of
がま
this
ず
zine.
11だったのが18になってたり、ボス数が作ってるボス数がもう17から23って増えてるんですね。これ当然調整コスト
I
め
can't
ちゃ
wait
く
to
ち
see
ゃ
the
増えてるん
memes for this
で
where it's like teleportation cost in 3.3.
So, I mean, the number of content, like types of content, may not have varied over the years. But if you look at, say, like the number of jobs, from patch 3.3, 11 jobs, we've now jumped up to 18 as of 5.3.
I'd love to see the
which means a
cutscenes
lot
in
of different
6.0
balance
compared to
adjustments
like
for those.
3.0
Number
or
of
something like
bosses
that.
have gone from 17 to 23.
もちろんね、開発スタッフっていうのも皆さんからいただいた月額課金で、まあ、どんどん採用してどんどん増やしていて、チーム規模も当然上がってるんですけど、じゃあ人が増えればそんなに簡単に僕ら工場製品作ってるわけじゃないので、量産が上がるかっていうとやっぱりそうではない。トレーニングも必要、経験も必
There
要。
were 23 bosses
そんなスーパ
in
ーエース
5.3?
たちが中川とか須藤とか
Well,
が
there's
どんどん育っ
normal,
ていくわけじゃ
there's
ないの
savage
で。
bosses, so that's 8. There was a dungeon, there was probably
Of
a
course,
trial.
with our development team,
dungeon had
thanks
3.
to the support via monthly
Trial,
submissions or
that's
subscriptions
2
from everybody,
versions.
we
Yeah.
are able to strengthen our team. We were able to hire additional staff, and so
Oh,
our
probably
team has
Boja?
definitely grown.
Yeah.
But
All the
I mean,
Baja
we're
stuff.
not in a
yeah.
factory manufacturing, like. We're not an assembly line. So we require training. We require for our staff to gain experience. Not everybody is a super ace player like Nakagawa or Sudo.
例えばこの開発チーム運営チーム三
Oh
角
yeah,
形だ
probably
とした
fate
場合
bosses
に
as
この
well.
三角のスケールはめっちゃ大きくできるんですよ。
はいはいはい。
だけど結局上の方に行くと、どこまで行っても最後は頂点はディレクターとかプロデューサ
Yeah,
ー
this
って
is
なってく
kind
る
of
と、
strange to
ここ
see
がやっぱ
them
そん
being
な
like,
簡単
guys,
に
we
は
don't
増え
want
な
to
いんで、
crunch, and this is
何でもかんでも
this
た
is
くさん
why.
調整も
Like,
チ
here's
ェ
an
ックもせずに
explanation.
出すってわけにもいかないから。
Yeah, it
まあ
is.
吉田
It
を
is
別
like
に分身させろとか、その
bless
培
their
養して
souls
増や
for
せば
always
っていう
being a
のを
little
考えろ
too.
なきにしもあらずだけど、ちょっとまだテク
Please
ノ
let
ロ
us
ジーがす
explain.
ごい
Let
追い
us
ついてない
explain.
ん
Like
で
it's fine.
Yeah.
Reasonable
So
people
if you would
do
imagine
understand.
our sort of
And anyone who played
team,
WoW,
I guess our staff
like,
or
like,
how
you can
a
do
year
this
and a
in
half
4
goes by.
months.
triangle.
What?
Yeah,
And of course, we can always scale
sat
the
through a
triangle
year and a
to
half
be
drought of
larger, but
content.
I mean, it's
Trust
still a
me.
triangle, so
I'm
the
all
tip
right.
is very small. And when you get to like the director and producer level, I mean, we train fantastic people, but like it doesn't grow in numbers as much as like when you scale the lower part of it. And there still requires a lot of adjustments that need to be applied on the things that we do create. And of course, it would be awesome if we can create like multiples of Yoshida. Maybe if we can clone him or like.
We shouldn't. Let's not talk about cloning,
But
guys.
still, it is quite a challenge.
吉田にハイデリンキックし分割しようって言われてるけど、それ薄く
I think I'm
なってんじゃん、
gonna spend the
うち
evening
吉田。
一気に14個に。
Playing Lost Ark and listening to the
Somebody's saying,
Endwalker
perform
soundtrack,
the
and
Heidelin
that's going to be
kick
great.
on
I'm very
Yoshida
excited
and
about
sunder
that.
him, then we'll have
Crying
14 of
into
him.
your
But
Yeah.
wait, no, but he's sundered, so he's like thinner. Like this, you have a diluted version of him.
いやいや、まあでもね、例えばそのカットシーンの数字なんてね、2時間25分トータルだった自動送りしていくと、まあもうパチコンテだと4時間30分になってるんですけど、まあ当然ですけど、そのいただいた 利益で人も増やし、いろんな会社さんにお願いして腕のいい人たちにたくさんカットシーンやっぱ作ってもらってるんですけど、どうしてもねディレクションする側っていうのの人数は限られてくるので、それでももう倍増近い感じですし。
And if we look at the cutscenes, we went from 2 hours 25 minutes to 4 hours and 30 minutes. And this is like if you let the dialogue autoplay. But I mean, we have brought on many talented people onto our teams, but we still require somebody to look at the product that they create. And there needs to be a director that makes sure that we're aligned.
もうなんか面白い、もうなんか能力の薄い吉田のただのやからやんけって
comments still going on about Sunder Yoshida, like, well, but what if he's like that's not like a low quality Yoshida. It's just a man.
まあというわけでですね、これからもちょっと今日お伝えした内容 7.0 に向かっていろいろやっていきます。パッチの物量というのも頑張ってまた作っていきますし、クオリティとか調整というところも妥協なくねまた進めていきたいとは思うんですが、まあその分ですね、ちょっとこれまでのパッチサイクル3.5 ヶ月にプラス2週させていただいて4ヶ月っていうサイクルでですね、ここから先まだまだ楽しみお届けしていこうと思ってます。
All right, Yoshi, you talk me. I'll join you.
But yeah, we are making various plans leading up to 7.0, and we still want to continue bringing you the different patch updates. And so with the different elements that we implement, as well as the balancing that we do, the fine tuning, we don't want to compromise any of that. That's why we do want to continue producing the patches to the quality that we hold ourselves up to. So we do want to ask for that initial 2 weeks so that we will have the 4-month patch cycle.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do any merch stuff here at the end.
Bring you regular updates.
They still have a Q&A.
まあ本当にあと10年やっていけばとてつもなく長い旅になると思ってます。皆さんとね一緒に今度は20年歩んでいこうということになるかと思います。
But unless you want to stick around for the Q&A, we can't.
Strive for another 10 years.
Just
this
us
is our,
being like,
our
why
goal,
are they asking this question?
And I'm
What is
hoping
this
that we will get
Yeah.
to a point where we will be celebrating, or like we will be looking back at our journey in our 20th like anniversary.
まだまだやりたいことね、チャレンジしてみたいこと
Oh my God.
あります。
20th
驚いてもらえる
anniversary,
こ
I'll be
と
so
やっていこうと思い
old.
ますので、ぜひこの先もですね、一緒にまた
I won't
手
even
に作っていただけると
play video games
嬉しいです。はい。
We
That's
do
not
want to
I know-
do more,
I know that's
take
not
on
true.
more and more challenges,
I
bring
just-
you more surprises. So
Never heard such a
I want to
blatant
continue
lie.
building this together with you all. So yeah, it would be great if you could continue to.
I won't
to
play
keep with
them,
us.
Jesse, because I'll be in the metaverse by then.
My brain will be a
ありがとうござい
robot.
ました。Thank you very much. So this is all about the first half of today's letter live. 今日の前半、プロデューサーレターライブの前半戦はここまでとな
1個忘れ
り
た。
ます。どうぞ。
ね、DC トラベルはいつが結構多くて、今のところ予定 6.18 かなで予定してますんで。
What was that?
Sorry, one more thing. We did see a lot of comments about, so when is data center travel going to be implemented? We are currently looking at 6.18 timing for that.
6.18?
はい、ありがとうございます。Thank you very much. ではこの後休憩に入るんですが、ですね、今日は後半戦は、
At least
通
before the
訳
end of
と
the
別
year,
の方にお願いすることになっておりますので、あゆみさんがここまでとなります。So before going to
The
break,
translator's green
because we
screen.
have another person for translation for the Q&A part. So that's it for あゆみさん today. So あゆみさ
Oh,
ん
no
皆さんに一言
translation,
ご挨
so
拶
we
お
won't
願い
even
し
be
ま
able
す。
to understand it, Jesse.
はい、長い間お付き合いいただきありがとうございました。Thank you guys so much for your patience as we navigate through all of this. But yeah, I will see you guys some other at another opportunity.
ありがとうございます。Thank you very much あゆみさん。
まあ
では、
僕がね安心してこうゲームシステムの
Yoshi's not
話
done.
っていうのを全世界の皆さんにこう
Did
いつもの
Yoshi
調子でお届けできるのは本当にあゆみ
grow
さ
a
んの
soul
高い
patch, or did
ス
it
キル
get
特に
smaller?
僕の性格を把握した上でのやっぱりト
he's
ラン
had
ス
it
レー
for
ショ
a
ンが
while.
ねもう長くなりますので、
Why-
僕ら
why am I
も
like-
コンビを組ませてもらっ
そうです
てなんで本当に助かってます。いつもありが
It's
とう
the
ござ
new
います。
lighting. It's
the new lighting
new-
engine. Yeah. New lighting engine.
Yoshida-san was,
Yeah,
thank
because-
you.
Ami-san really knows Yoshida-san's characteristics very well, so it's we are very relying on Ami-san's translation for when he explains the game systems or mechanics. So thank you very much, Ami-san again.
Thank you.
はい。では今から休憩に入るんですが、1時
Just look at your
40
watch.
分再開。So we want to restart the latter
I don't have a
part
watch.
of the
I don't
Letter
either.
Live at the
That's fine.
1:40 p.m.
Ah, yeah.
I don't have a
Japan time,
watch.
which is in 20 minutes. でですね、今日の休憩の音もご紹介したいと思います。So, during the break, we have two videos today for you to enjoy.
20分あるから1本ならいいやつだったら2本あんのかよ
Yeah, we have a 3-second digest preview of all the songs from the upcoming Endwalker soundtrack and a time-lapse video of mosaic art we created live using screenshots that we were submitted by our players during another broadcast. 2本ありまして、1本目は、先日つい最近公開しましたエンドウォーカーのサントラが出ます。それの、3秒ダイジェストの全曲紹介の、トレーラーがありますので、そちらを
I'll
ご
listen
覧
to
いた
that
だき、
soundtrack.
その後ですね、これも先日ご紹介しましたが、別の生
I'll
放
buy
送
that
企画でモザイクアート皆さんからお送りいただいたスクリーンショットでモザイクアートを作るという企画がありまして、それのタイムラプスビデオがありますので、そちら2本続けてご覧いただいて、また1時40分から再開したいと思います。それでは休憩です。ビデオをご覧ください。どうぞ。
So wait, is this every 3 seconds? What is this?
No, that's the let's say menagerie. That's not what it is.
Montage? No, this is the
It's not
soundtrack.
even that.
Yeah, it's every 3 seconds. That's what they said.
Oh, all right. I was clearly wrong.
I want that on loop for hours. I hate this song.
This is the jam. Wop 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 wop.
The nighttime music there is nice. Nope, hate that one. Here we go. Too spooky. First dungeon, not bad. Too sad. That whole area was just depressing. That area also very depressing.
I want to just blast the radio song from a radio. It's my dream.
Very good moment. God, hearing all of this song, it's crazy. The like nostalgia that hits you.
They did mention they made a ton of songs for this one.
There we go. That's my fucking shit right there. That Final Fantasy IV shit.
I get it. I feel you.
Also, that's very good. Also very good. Yeah, it's
Saving
okay.
all the bangers for the end.
That's not a bad dungeon. This is Thancred. That's the name of that song. Banger. Sad.
You're just naming emotions now.
Sad.
Outrage.
Sad
Pain.
times. Oh God, here comes the lyrics. Fucking Pog. Poggers. Sad. Sad again.
Is this what I'm doing wrong on Twitch?
Yeah,
I'm not
this is how you
communicating
react. This is an
effectively?
official react stream.
Poggers. Oh no, Monka S. Big Gamba.
I didn't like the raid music.
You know what? The last one I love.
This one?
This one, yeah.
Yeah. I think that might be my favorite song. It's so good. This one right now. God, it's so good. On sale February 23rd. That's very soon. Is that also going to be in vinyl? Or just Blu-ray?
No, this is just the soundtrack. Vinyl won't even have... Vinyl has like 12 total songs.
What the hell is this?
Here we go. This is the collage is the word I was looking for.
Okay. I'll watch this. This looks kind of cool.
They had people put the I guess they sent screenshots.
Oh, and they color graded them?
Screenshots. Maybe.
Wow, that looks like a very insane process. Holy shit. Yeah, this is definitely a PP overheat right here. Look at my chat. You'll see a PP overheat.
I don't know what that means.
You'll see it if you open my chat. There's a PP overheating. You see it?
I don't understand.
Look, it's this. That's PP overheat.
I don't know what that means.
It's this right here. It's that emote.
You said this is definitely a PP overheat, and I'm asking you what that means, and you responded, "Look at my chat," and so I did, and I still don't know what it means.
I showed it to you in fucking VMix.
It doesn't explain anything.
Is that? Oh, so it's the Warrior Light in each expansion. That's really cool.
Yeah.
The Shadowbringer ones is kind of a mess.
Shout out to the people who took photos that had no real place to go, but they found them a place anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got them in there.
All right. That's good. The Q&A will not have translations. I believe there's a Discord that most people will get those from. You can probably see it pop up on Reddit if you want to see the old translations. But yeah, that was, I didn't know what to expect from this, and I feel like I'm leaving very pleased with what I got. That graphic update stuff, very exciting. Right, Jesse Cox?
I was about to say, I wasn't even on the screen. I was like, what's happening right now? What's going on? I thought you vanished me. It's all right. Still don't know what a PP overheat is, but here we are.
Yeah, get some hyperclaps in his chat.
No one is going to hyperclap him. I don't know what a hyperclap is.
Do you not have DTTV installed? Do you not have that add-on on Chrome?
No.
Oh my God, your Twitch. What the fuck?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Jesse, if you installed better Twitch TV, okay, then your emote artist could make 50 more animated little JC emotes that then your chat could spam in your chat that are animated on top of the 5 that you already have. There could be a little JC overheat.
I don't know what that means.
It's incredible. It could be insane. It'd be so good.
I'm all right. I'm all right.
Wait, so that means there's no Pepe in your chat. Man, that's...
I don't have
Sag.
anything.
Real Sag. That's Krungo, guys. That's mega Krungo.
I'm not up on the memes. I don't know how they work.
Anyways, Jesse, I think we got good news today. I'm excited for that graphic overhaul, whatever that looks like as we get closer to 7.0.
The graphics overhaul looks awesome. I'm very excited about. There's so much coming down the pipeline.
Yeah,
and I'm just ready for it. I think I'm. I finally realized what kind of player I am.
What's
as
that?
Like a video game player.
Like a playa?
Well, shout out to dear old Lamatod for helping me do the
Savage?
The Savage mode trials.
Yeah.
Because I've realized that while that's fun and all, I could just like wait a few months and do it easier. And I'm like, what if I just waited a few months and did it easier?
That's correct.
So I don't know. I realized I don't. Throwing myself against a wall is my PP overheat. Is that correct? Is that a correct usage?
No. That's a little Cappy doing the laundry. do you know? Wait, do you know what Cappy doing the laundry is? Have you seen this?
No!
This is Cappy doing the laundry right here, Jesse.
It's exactly like Cappy doing the laundry. It's exactly like that. That is me in MMOs. That is exactly correct.
Oh man, we spammed that in my chat non-stop. Oh god. There's also, we could do some furry run. How do you feel about?
I don't know what that.
What about little furry run? Jesse Cox.
Holy shit!
Little fur. You could have that in your life, or if you're crazy and
Those
you want to
new Rockstar
go,
models are great.
if you want to go a little faster, there's also Sonic Run, and it goes at 2x speed. Oh god,
that sucks so bad.
I feel like I'm that Zoomer son that's showing his dad like memes on the internet.
I honestly don't know any of this.
Do you know about the Elden Ring fish?
No.
That's the Elden Ring fish.
I've never seen that thing
It sounds
before.
like this.
Oh, Elden Ring.
That's what that fish is saying.
So, you know what? It's funny, but I'm glad I don't have to deal with that shit.
Oh man, that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Oh man.
Oh boy, Jesse, any closing words on the live? Maybe Jesse, maybe this is some future content for us. Maybe I name a better Twitch TV emote. You describe it, and then I reveal it to you at the same time.
We have to test it. All right, right now, give me one.
What do you think? Stand by. What do you think Pepe Base HD looks like?
Pepe Base HD?
Pepe Base HD.
It's gonna be the Pepe the Frog, and he's gonna be like smoking dope because he's a bass head.
Looks like this.
I'm pretty close. I'm pretty close. I was very close.
All right. One more. What do you think Bone Zone looks like?
Bone Zone is going to. I know the kids. It's gonna be. It was that guy Sans. It's gonna be him.
Okay, it's Sans doing what?
That meme dance he does. The kids do.
All right. A little close.
All right, pretty close. That's pretty close.
It's not Sans. It has nothing to do with Undertale.
That guy's name is like Franz, but it's very close.
That's his uncle, Franz. Yeah. Anyways, that might be some future content. You never know.
That's a good show.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
What is this? I don't know.
And then we just name. What do you think Kratos Jam is?
Like Kratos from God of War, but he's like, hey, that's my jam. I mean, I was one half right.
You were one half right.
It was Kratos.
Yeah. All right, that's enough of this. Any shout outs here, Jesse, at the end of the live letter?
Yeah, shout out to everyone keeping me entertained with all of your lovely Final Fantasy XIV videos. I've been stalking pretty much everyone who's uploaded a reaction to the end of Endwalker. I've seen every single one. So
nice. I'm gonna give a shout out to 4K Grapes coming soon.
Coming soon.
Maybe with proper lighting.
Yeah.
Sorry, I heard random noises. I was very confused.
Oh, that's just the.
It's the water. Yeah, someone just turned on water. Yeah, that's all that is. Jesse, are you streaming after this? Are you done? Any upcoming streams you want to promote?
Dude, I don't want to tell you about what's happening with me right now.
Okay.
But I shouldn't have eaten what I ate earlier.
Okay.
Anyway, tomorrow, I don't know, 11 a.m. ish, 10 a.m. I'll figure it out.
Okay.
More Horizon Forbidden West.
True.
And then that'll be most of my day tomorrow. I'm not even gonna lie.
Nice.
And then we'll figure it out.
Okay.
We'll figure it out the rest of the way.
Sounds good. I'm doing Horizon. We're marathoning the main story, in which I've only done 2 main story quests and a total of 8 hours of gameplay.
I was about to say today, I got to the new thing and then have not touched the story since.
Yeah, dude, it's awful. It's so bad. It's like, guys, we're gonna do main story. It's coming up, and then I would just trail off and go into a puzzle box room or some shit. I don't know. Yeah. So we'll try to do that. Then Elden Ring next week and all that stuff. MCU Crew's back on Monday. Make sure, God, I have to watch 4 hours. I got to watch some Iron Fist. That's my night.
Oh no.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's the only free time I'm gonna have. All right, I might as well watch Iron Fist. Let's do this.
We got 4 hours of Iron Fist to watch tonight. Oh boy. Okay.
I might come back to you on Monday and be like, guys,
the show's great.
I think this show is amazing. Yeah, this show is so good.
Could be. We need to remind Bronze. We got to send a reminder message to her. All right, that's it. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back soon for more. We're out of here for now. Bye-bye.